क्या हाल है भाई सब लोग हैप्पी सैटरडे वेलकम बैक टू ऑलमाइटी ब्लूज एफसी अ फैन चैनल फॉर ऑल टू सी और भाई कहीं ना कहीं दिस वीकेंड भाई इट इज द गेम चेंजर वीक मेरे लिए भाई सब लोग आप लोग पता नहीं आप अग्री करते हो कि नहीं बिकॉज रिमेंबर इट वाज द फर्स्ट वीक ऑफ यूरोपियन फुटबॉल सो द टीम्स जिसके थे काफी सारे मैचेस विल बी डिस्कसिंग व्हाट हैपेंड एंड ऑफ कोर्स उसके आफ्टर इफेक्ट्स क्या हो सकते हैं एंड ऑल दैट. But of course, it's a derby weekend भी तो कहीं ना कहीं 6 pointers will be there. A lot of derbies in fact, not just the North London derby or Madrid derby. हम और भी बात करेंगे. Yes, there are more derbies for sure. लेकिन but of course भाई कहीं ना कहीं Chelsea का एक ब्रेक थ्रू वीक होपफुली हो सकता है with us मीटिंग विला who let's be real आज के दिन में विला और चेल्सी एक्चुअली टेबल में राइवल्स व्हाटएवर वी लाइक इट और नॉट दैट इज द रियल फैक्ट यार जैसे हम बोले लेकिन to discuss all that and more and of course towards the end we'll try and do FPL as well. मुझे पता है FPL deadline is what just over a couple of hours, so hopefully we'll have everyone join in. तो भाई जो भी लोग जुड़े first of all big thanks for coming on. It is a Saturday afternoon लेकिन hopefully we'll have everyone not lazing around coming and contributing to the stream as well as giving your views. हम combined 11 भी करने की कोशिश करेंगे बीच में. That will be good fun as always. लेकिन सब लोग let's hit that like button. I've just shared in the community post as well. So we have Wall, Kunal is here, Paras is here. Nice to see you guys. Yeah, Messi is good. Bhai, wow. Jealous Ankit is here. Wow. Let's clap for this fake Messi is good. This is not the real Messi is good. I believe this is someone else who's using Messi is good and is trying to spread hate. So let's directly kick this guy out of the channel. एक second. I can do it right away. Bye. Tata. Bye. See you guys. मतलब क्या चीज का jealous यार? The fact that basically I've been getting more love than what I deserve is what do you mean? Come on man, just stop it man. जो भी यार hate दे रहा ना, let's not spread hate. There's enough hate in this world as it is. देवेश क्या हाल है भाई? Nice to see you as well. Abhinav, new member again. Very good to see that. लेकिन we have अपने भाई यार Nathan in the house. What's up Nathan? How's your Saturday going?
Good. My Saturday is going good so far. Thank God we play on Sunday, so I can say I can maintain my Saturday is going good.
बिल्कुल. But Nathan, I must start, and of course we are going to be discussing each and every match as a crazy weekend, especially Sundays. That it's a proper Super Sunday, and not just in the Premier League. We have the Madrid Derby. There's a PSG Marseille for people who do not know. भाई वो भी बहुत अच्छा match है. But
Sorry, which game?
of course, PSG versus Marseille. That is the only match
Never
available
heard
in
of
the
either
Liga.
of them.
No,
Never
it
heard of
is
either of them.
definitely. PSG Marseille, the atmosphere is like there's a crazy rivalry, bro. As in the people like they go not.
Yeah, I know.
That's the only relevant game to
It's
be honest
mostly
in
from
Liga.
Marseille's side because Paris FC fans are somewhere else now.
But no, I'm telling about the traditional fans. PSG Marseille is like always. But just not that. There's Indian football as well on Sunday. But Nathan, firstly, I have to ask you, of course, being a Manchester United supporter, I'm not going to be dwelling into the game just yet. We'll come game by game. But first, Bayern Munich away 4-3. Of course, not just Manchester United, a lot of teams are coming from Europe. You can see that this is a true test, right? As in, this is the first real test, I think, in the season. Fair to say, considering it's a European week and coming back. But how satisfied were you? What are you looking at generally from, say, teams coming from Europe this week?
I think from everything I've heard, a lot of people have been resting players. A lot of people have been hit by injury, like us. Like even Brighton, I believe Brighton lost even, right? Like it's such a people don't understand.
Yeah.
Newcastle, Brighton, these teams in particular, even Arsenal to an extent will understand exactly what this is, because there has to be rotation whether your manager wants it or not. It's automatic. It's officially not become a choice anymore. It's just not become a choice anymore. So, the stubbornness will unfortunately cost you greatly now because the stakes have been upped, and I think this week is going to be quite telling on all the top 7 teams at least that are in Europe for sure. So it's going to be very interesting to see because some teams can't rotate and some teams will have no option but to rotate. So
yeah,
in terms of squad depth, obviously.
Correct. And that's the thing, right? So it's very interesting you say that. And again, people in the chat, आप लोग भी बोलिए क्योंकि मुझे क्या लगता है ना, मतलब देखो, there are teams, you're right, that there will be rotation or not. लेकिन the problem is teams which are coming off. So you can understand the previous week, like the previous game week which we discussed. There you could understand because you have a Champions League or a Europa League match after that, right? So you could still kind of play a strong team, and depending on जो भी लोग को थोड़ा सा niggles लग रहा है और they have the fatigue, they might not complete. आज अलग है because especially for the Champions League teams, right? Teams which are in the Champions League, because Champions League is not a tournament where people rotate. At least the players don't want to be rotated. Put it that way, right? So now, especially like for example, a Manchester United, like you said, Brighton, even Aston Villa. We'll come to that, and these are teams which actually saw a loss. Now after that, it's all the more imperative that they play them strong team. Okay, a double loss, especially the media outlets, especially Manchester United, Chelsea और certain teams के लिए हमें पता ही है क्या होता है. लेकिन भाई Joshua in the house, Lavanya, Moin, क्या हाल है भाई? Always good to see you as well. Swap, yes, Tottenham भाई, Tottenham swap अपने fan है, and कहीं ना कहीं this is the true test for me. As much as Tottenham or Ange Ball and all has worked really well, I think this is going to be the real big test here. Have you become like men from boys despite Kane not being there? I think क्योंकि let's be real, Arsenal without 3 players भाई got the result in the midweek, तो हमने करना ही है. लेकिन has everyone here, आप देख रहे हो, comment on the screen, so let's try and get up the likes, भाई.
I mean, are we really counting the PSV thing as an indication to anything? Because
We should know because
I didn't watch the game because I was doing the
yeah,
United watch along. But from what
correct.
I was told
I
is
watched the extended highlights only. I'm not on the
PSV apparently were playing full attack. And basically that's how they play now since they sacked since Van Nistelrooy actually left, he didn't get sacked. So apparently this new coach, whatever his name is, I don't watch the Eredivisie, apparently he's playing guns out football, and I think Burnley has taught us. Hopefully they do that to us today, even that would be lovely, but hopefully they have learned their lesson in the first 5 games. So I thought apparently PSV were also playing that way, and they got rightfully so put to the sword. So are we really counting that? Also Spurs have taken a week off.
No, Peter Bowles is actually knowing to be playing football. But again, let's not dwell too much on the Champions League game. What I'm trying to say यहाँ पर, Arsenal were actually missing, more than a couple of players. So considering that difference between the Arsenal of the old versus now is, especially, Nathan, whether we like it or not, here we are, here to talk facts. And the fact is that 7 years later, you are playing a Champions League game, irrespective of XYZ team. I think it is a big deal in my personal opinion, because there is pressure. Let's be real. If you are from, say, Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal also, as in we cannot deny the fact that Arsenal as a club, yes, they are a huge club, whether we like it or not. And I know opposition fans, we don't like to say it, but that's how as content creators need to be neutral and say that that's a fact. Facts don't change. Arsenal are a huge club. Of course, we can debate which is a bigger club. That is, we get there, but I'm not going to sit here and talk rubbish, right? So anyway, let's start on the positive note, Nathan. Let's try and be a little bit fair as well to all the teams and facts piece as it is. But I just highlighted the fixtures है. सब लोग हम लोग एक fixture के हिसाब से जाएंगे, ठीक है? यहाँ पर तो obviously starting off quickly यहाँ पर I think आज है 7:30 and yes, by the way, prediction league आज के fixtures हम count नहीं करेंगे, कल से हम count करेंगे.
Palace Fulham
message. Crystal Palace Fulham, यही बोल रहा था कि यार it is also a derby week apart from the North London derby, the Madrid derby and otherwise. The Palace versus Fulham, I must say, Nathan, that somewhere down the line, you must say that Fulham have almost disappointed, lekin Palace have punched above their weight, or is it that Palace were, not doing well last season? Matlab, they have actually started well. आप देखो तो right now Palace are 9th on 7 points and Fulham are 10th on 7 points. कहीं ना कहीं they are kind of mid-table teams. Let's be real, but which team has underperformed? Which team has overperformed among the two of them?
I mean, I think I would have to say Fulham, right? Because Fulham were really close to getting a European spot. And also, you have to take into fact that Crystal Palace lost one of their players. The other player who signed a long-term deal is injured. Olise, if I'm not mistaken. Not long-term, but he's been injured for the most of the season.
Injured hai, exactly. Lekin Zaha is gone, obviously.
Zaha obviously is gone. They lost their club captain. For people who don't know, it's Luka Milivojevic. Legendary penalty taker in my opinion.
Actually,
at least.
Bhai, kya badhiya penalties deta hai.
But so they are lost.
But I still feel that Palace team, just the way they're playing their football, they're playing that bindas style almost, like which is very surprising. Roy Hodgson's side we kind of associate that. For me, actually, Palace have definitely, surprised me. Joshua is going for a 2-1 Palace. You know what? I won't be surprised. Yes, I know Palinia has signed the new deal. But if you actually look at it, let's actually look at individual teams here. If you see the fixtures of Palace, remember this is also a week where there will be, I believe, a midweek EFL Cup game. So maybe that is
Yes, we
also
have.
coming to
Yeah,
picture.
there we got to play Palace double EFL Cup and next week in the league. We are playing Crystal Palace next round.
Right. So Palace, obviously, as in the way that they've gone about the football, as in check it out. So they have like,
We
of
have a
course, the
double
last,
fixture.
but again, the last one also Aston Villa they lost. I think it was the last 5 minutes. Literally, Aston Villa scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
That's how it was. It is a crazy game last week, and everyone remembers how it was. But before that, you see, as in they've got a couple of good results there. On the other hand, if you actually look at Fulham, I think right now you can argue that Fulham have actually underperformed. If I'm being very real,
Yeah, they
because
have.
you think so? They're on the pitch also. They're looking like that side though.
I, you know what? I think the Mitrovic thing turned it really ugly. I think the
Hmm.
Palinia thing was. A lot of people are like, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him. I'm like, yeah, I feel bad for him, but at the same time, it was like, Fulham, what is Fulham supposed to do after selling Palinia? They get put in a really bad spot because they almost made European spots. Then on top of that, they lose Mitrovic because Mitrovic throws a fit basically. Then they lose Palinia because the deal was supposedly good. I mean, they have started very rough. They have started like I would imagine there'd be a lot of low confidence. Mitrovic came good last season. Palinia was a
Hmm.
revelation for Fulham. Marco Silva looked like he was getting results out of the boys. Um, fast forward, you can say they underperform, but if you look at the players they have and the players they've lost, it's actually becomes genuinely underwhelming. They replaced, say what you want about Alexander Mitrovic, but no matter how crap a team he played in, he always managed to score a goal when he came to the Premier League. He gets replaced by Raul Jimenez, who's basically not been Raul Jimenez for 3 years. So
True.
there's an initial downgrade. Then all the pressure comes on Andreas Pereira, who for many years was either sitting on the bench, being played out of position, being loaned. He's not had hit the best of his own career. Now there's even more pressure on him. And I feel Andreas Pereira is one of those people that play better without pressure because
Hmm.
we saw what he did at United when how people target United, right? Especially
Correct.
if there's a weak spot. So pressure comes back onto Andreas Pereira now, which some people would say is a good thing. Some people depends on who you ask. Obviously, now you can see the injuries here. Ararabioyo, which I believe is a centre back. Obviously, Adama is injured again apparently. So they are not looking good. They underperformed in terms of what was expected for them at the beginning of the season. But if you
Correct.
take into account what they have lost and all the drama that's been around them before the season began, or after the transfer window ended. It's actually you could say it's par for the course where they are right now. As of
Yep.
now, they could right the ship, but as of now, it seems okay. They're both in similar
Absolutely.
positions.
ओके गाइज, यू मस्ट बी वंडरिंग भाई हम लोग यहाँ पर क्रिस्टल पैलेस फुलम डाबी की बात क्यों कर रहे हैं, नॉर्थ लंदन डाबी की बात नहीं कर रहे, हम चेल्सी एस्टन विला की बात नहीं कर रहे, बर्नली मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड की बात नहीं कर रहे, लिवरपूल और वेस्ट हैम की बात नहीं कर रही, मैड्रिड डाबी की बात नहीं कर रहे, क्यों? इवन पीएसजी मार्स फॉर दैट मैटर, फॉर पीपल हु नो द हिस्ट्री। भाई यहाँ पर क्यों? क्योंकि आप लोग लाइक बटन नहीं दबा रहे हो। क्या हो रहा है ना भाई, फॉर द मेन टॉपिक्स पर हम लोग वो बात कर लेंगे पहले 10-15 मिनट में, और फिर पीपल विल से लाइक कम ऑन एज इन टॉक अबाउट दैट। तो कम ऑन गाइस, लेट्स हिट दैट लाइक बटन। We are what, a family of what, 10,700. Let's get to 11K. Let's get Nathan to 2K as soon as possible. Nathan's channel is tagged in the description as well as the title. So sab log, it just takes a press of a button, hit that like button. Also on the community post, yeah, sab log aa jaye so that hum log discuss kar. I know kahin na kahin, you must have already discussed a lot already, lekin would love to know your thoughts, because kahin na kahin Nathan is a panel, but so are you guys, almighty fam. Come on, let's have in more people. We need a lot of discussions here. This is going to be one of those, I think, definitely game changing weekends in my personal opinion. And again, मैं agree करता हूँ कि Crystal Palace at home probably will edge it, just about is what I'm saying. लेकिन हाँ, Fulham needs to pull up the socks in, especially in those goal scoring. I think against Man City मैं expect कर रहा कि ज़्यादा fight देगी Fulham, to be very honest about it. लेकिन हाँ, talk about Man City, they are playing Forest at home. But should we take it lightly? Because Forest, all of a sudden we played them. Nathan,
Remember,
you played
remember what
them.
you remember? I was on before the match, before the game, and I told you, be careful of Ilanga. What happened, Ankit? I said that even. Be careful of
Exactly,
Ilanga. And
Nathan
when it
OP, yeah,
happened, no, I was
absolutely.
like, oh my god, oh my
I
god.
didn't like
I
the
was like,
fact that you said that and it came true
no,
because it was against my
the
team.
same thing, na, the same thing happened at Chelsea. They were like, yeah, okay, their first 11 are being subbed out. Elanga's coming on. Elanga came and instantly got the assist. It's like,
Yeah.
that fresh pace, that fresh boost, that fearlessness of a younger player. It can make a difference. It can make a difference in any game.
So basically speaking, you're saying that Nottingham Forest will surprise Man City in a European week.
No, I think Nottingham Forest will do well to get a result out there. But listen, we thought Sheffield would be a walk in the park. It was most certainly not
Hmm.
a walk in the park. Let's be honest. Yeah, they should have smoked them, but they did not at the end of the day. I think Nottingham Forest is a better team than Sheffield United, so I think there should be a better chance to maybe get something out of it. Larousi comes on and ruins the whole game for Sheffield United. They spent 90 minutes of the game doing well, and
Hmm.
then the game gets ruined by a defender that was bought on as a sub, basically. So
Correct. लेकिन is it safe to say? I know that again, just like we spoke about, briefly about Arsenal, वो आएंगे वापस से. लेकिन Man City, even in the European time, हर एक week Liverpool and Man City doing the same thing. But Man City especially यार, even without De Bruyne, वो लग नहीं रहा है कि they have devoid of any creativity, right? As in they are still having Rodri doing De Bruyne things, Alvarez kind of finishing even better than Haaland, you can argue right now. So, if there's a hole in that City side, what do you have to point out to, if there is any, right now?
I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I don't think there's a hole. I think the fact that people think a hole is a complete myth. I think at best you might able to expose Matheus Nunez because he's not used to the system.
Mhm.
I don't think there's a hole. And Guardiola is not. Can we just be honest here? Guardiola is no. He's. I heard someone say Guardiola's a good fullback. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah, he's
Listen,
actually a
like
center back who could play
I
fullback.
was like, what is everyone talking about?
You
Like
know, you know why,
seriously,
Nathan? You know why? If you remember, for Croatia, for people who
yeah, he
watch
played
Euro
centre back,
2020, नहीं
of
he
course.
actually when he was a youngster ना क्रोएशिया में क्योंकि उस समय बहुत सारे सेंटर बैक्स ऑलरेडी थे, they
Yeah,
had their thing.
Lovren and what is
So
that guy? Vida, no?
Vida, exactly. So he started off as a left back. So people would have seen, that initial days. But actually speaking, right now the way that he's built up his body and etc., he surely is a centre back man. Uh,
He's looking thicker, and I think that left hand side you could expose, but then again, here's the problem, right? Is Guardiola even going to start? If Guardiola doesn't start, then this discussion is not even a discussion. This is just because Pep does what Pep does, right? He just he does eeny meeny miny mo, and then he picks his 11, and then they win a game 3-0. So is
Not only
Guardiola
three
even going
nil,
to
no, no.
start?
मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ ना कहीं ना कहीं मैन सिटी एंड sorry, Liverpool have picked a leaf out of Real Madrid's book. मुझे तो ये लग रहा है आजकल कि अब दोनों they are kind of conceding and coming back in second half 3-1. That's what is happening. It's a standard thing now. But one year is like, yes, absolutely. Bhai, Mog bhai क्या हाल है? What's up? Big up to Mog bhai यार. Man City will win comfortably. City has injuries also in midfield. Yeah, that's a point. लेकिन मैं वही बोल रहा था ना, De Bruyne missing है the main guy for a good few weeks. फिर भी आप देखो तो Kovacic, the new signing is missing. John Stones, Jack Grealish, Bernardo Silva.
They'll just put one of their kids there, right? They'll put Lewis or
Rico
Gomez.
Lewis is good
Just
enough
bring
to
in.
play in as a starter, in my personal opinion, in midfield against Nottingham Forest, with all due respect.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think
but
so at
ठीक है,
least.
I think everyone is kind of saying that. लेकिन वो ये if they get another injury per se इस game में, then they might have an issue. That is for sure. Considering there are midweek games right now, this part of the season, यार, people don't realize that between the first international break and second international break is actually very busy. I know हम हमेशा बात करते हैं December और January in the Premier League, but generally I would say this part is very busy. वो दिखता नहीं क्योंकि there are multiple competitions. There's the EFL Cup, there's the Champions League, Europa League, as well as this going on. So end of September, October बहुत important है. लेकिन I will say the midfield still lacks that edge. Messi is good at saying only Pep's overthinking and stop City. I think he stopped overthinking. Nowadays the oppositions are overthinking यार. लेकिन Nottingham Forest, if I have to be real, they were tough to play. Sangare midfield. I am very sad at Andre Santos going there. Sadiq bhai knows Andre Santos like anything, bro. Being a Brazil fan, भाई Sadiq bhai Andre Santos के लिए मतलब थोड़ा सा sad feel हो रहा है. We sent him on loan. And then after that, they signed Sangare. What to tell, bro? As in, he was supposed to start there, and but anyway, Guardiola also hyped up before the transfer. No, I don't think so. Hyped up wala cheez. Dekho, at his age, people forget how young he is. Guardiola is actually very, very young, and in my personal opinion, in that young age, he's got that experience of playing in multiple competitions at the world stage. Plus, not just that, in important games, yes, there have been couple of mistakes. Abhi tak Man City ke liye he's not stood out, but the fact that he's able to even stand his ground in that Man City 11 is saying a lot at that age. Yes, huge money. लेकिन आज के दिन में things have changed. मुझे याद है, मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ. Remember, Nathan, few years ago when Torres went for 50 million, we were like, oh my god, what crazy है. Chelsea got mad. And आजकल 50 million भाई is chiller in the Premier League, terms. So I don't think we should look at it. In fact, Chelsea were ready to pay more. Maybe Gomez will play in left
Yeah,
back role.
exactly,
I doubt it.
Nishant.
You
Someone
think
will
so?
play if Guardiola doesn't play there. He'll play a fullback. Yes,
No, I
Gomez
think
or
Guardiola has to
Nicolas.
play. Nottingham Forest is a very physical team. I think एक side में मैं बहुत surprise हूँगा with all due respect. And I think Gomez played in midweek.
Avoni has got a return in every game they've played so far.
Yeah, and not just that. I think Ola Aina, ex-Chelsea man, why he's underrated in my opinion. He's pretty good. Gibbs White, I think Kafi forward line is good. I think generally speaking, they have to have a solid defense. The thing about City is that every player knows their role in the team and they truly
Exactly.
play as a unit. And plus, if they can, seamlessly replace if someone is missing. That is one more
That's
thing about
exactly
City.
why I say maybe Matheus Nunez might be the weak link because he's just simply not used to the team yet. That's
Yes.
how I look at it. That's the only reason. And
Yeah, maybe,
Guardiola is not
maybe
a
just
fullback, so
correct. And as a starter, you can say that. But he had a good appearance last week. Having said that, PKL,
yep,
yes, there is the Madrid derby. There is, of course, the North London derby. There is, of course, the PSG match of people know. There are some important matches this weekend. Lekin we are going to come game by game. आप जानते ही हो भाई सब लोग. And towards the end, we'll try and take a little bit of FPL questions as well. Always just for City to win 3-0. नहीं,
I don't think they're gonna
I
win. I don't think they're gonna win 3-0.
yeah, it's will be Champions League week, tha na, Nathan, and plus they have injuries, so I don't think it'll be as solid as what we expect. But City are, Priyansh, we understand that they are definitely going to win it.
Yeah,
Relation Kova
probably.
can be back at on the bench. I believe Puneet at best. I don't think they're going to start. But yeah, so everyone going for City there, no surprises whatsoever. By I think it's probably time to discuss the match that probably we want to discuss. Of course, we'll come to Chelsea, Aston Villa in detail.
Can I just throw an interesting fact that I just saw though? I
Yes,
didn't
yes,
realize
please.
that. I just saw it. Uh, Nottingham Forest and Man City have made head to head, and there's been 4 draws.
Exactly.
And
That's what
Nottingham
1 minute
and
motivation
Nottingham
did
Forest
say
has
that in the
more
chat
wins
as
than
well.
and Nottingham Forest has more wins than City.
And I think probably that goes back in history, knowing Nottingham Forest history. Lekin I get to what you're saying absolutely. So Nottingham Forest kind of team I think is better suited to kind of get a result against City. Say a West Ham, I know West Ham के साथ City came back and won. Lekin I feel कि वैसा team is better. मतलब a slightly more physical team is what I'm trying to say in simple
Yeah.
layman's teams. क्योंकि अगर if you're trying to play football as a City, so forget it. I don't think that's how you beat City. You have to do something out of the box, and that's what Nottingham Forest does, in my personal opinion, along with playing football, mind you. But guys, कल एक तो भाई टाइमिंग शेड्यूल कैसे होते हैं भाई नेतन आई एम सो पिस्ड ऑफ ब्रो you have Chelsea, Aston Villa, North London Derby, and Liverpool, West Ham, plus the India. I know ये तो एशियन गेम्स का अलग टाइमिंग है, बट इंडिया का मैच भी अराउंड ओवरलैप होंगे. 4 मैचेस विल बी ओवरलैपिंग. आई डोंट नो, इसलिए मैंने पोल भी डाला था विच मैच आर यू गोइंग टू बी वाचिंग. बट नॉर्थ लंडन डार्बी, नेथन, has Ange Ball really surprised you, or you were expecting, क्योंकि केन नहीं है तो you were expecting कि कहीं ना कहीं it will be more like a team spirit of Tottenham that will come through, because we all know, Nathan, you watched your football over the years. By Tottenham, as much as हम troll करते हैं and all that, one thing is they always played football. They always played football, and now in Ange Ball they're
Well,
playing football.
up until recently, but let's not take the name of those
Yeah, leave the
managers.
content, the Jose
There'll be
era.
some problems otherwise. Just
Yeah,
leave that part on its own.
बिल्कुल. लेकिन जनरली स्पीकिंग, मतलब what is that aspect of Ange Ball भाई, सब लोग, आप लोग को भी आप लोग बोलिए, because is it the fact that Kane is not there which is helping, or it's simply because the coach has actually worked, his magic. मतलब there is something of a different atmosphere that is seeming under Ange Ball coming back. मतलब steeliness you don't associate with Tottenham, right? Even with Arsenal for that matter. I have to say.
Oh, Finally, I get talk crap about Arsenal. No, I was thinking. So I didn't watch. Unfortunately, because of timings, I haven't done any Tottenham watch-alongs or as
Hmm.
many as I was very excited when Ange came on. And in my predictions, I said I give them the first outside chance to get the fifth spot for Champions League. They are my first choice as an outside pick. And from what I've
Wow.
seen, is the most important thing is that they're not giving up.
Hmm. Which is so
That
unlike
is the
Tottenham,
most.
right? Again.
I think you know what I think it is, Ankit. At least recently, feel like it's because of the managers. It's not that they have a history of coming making comebacks and all, but I think it is a little bit because of the managers they had. I think it's fair to say that because let's
Okay.
be honest, when they were getting worn out by Sheffield, let's put it in a nice way, because I had people in the chat abusing Sheffield United. They were joining my stream and abusing them. So um, you basically almost said, oh, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose 1-0. Let's
Correct.
be honest, it's happening. And then the grit, the determination, and from all people, Richarlison, who basically when he came back home and said, "We're going to take care of him. We're going to sort him out. It's good that he's opening up so we can find out what the real problem is and deal with it." Comes back, goal and assist. Yeah, you can't make this up. Storybook stuff. Um, I think their willingness to fight is the most impressive thing, and I think that is definitely Ange because Ange did it at Celtic. I think that's what
But
he
how
has
about this point which Priyansh is
inculcated in
saying?
them.
यहाँ पर देखो, not playing Richarlison is a big boost for Spurs as a start. Although he came on and by did brilliantly, got a goal and an
Yeah, so
assist in the
see,
last few
every player
minutes.
has their role, right, Ankit? I agree with Priyansh. Everybody has their role, but I'm just saying, of all the players to make the impact,
Hmm.
that was a really good thing, because that's just going to make him feel better and maybe down the line start again, get his spot back. Not playing Richarlison definitely helped them, that is true. But then when you find out what Richarlison's been going through, you kind of wonder how badly has he been compromised. We will see in the coming weeks for sure. Uh, but yes, the steeliness, like you said, lovely. There, everyone knows their role. Everyone seems to be disciplined, which is something you unfortunately did allocate to Arsenal in the recent years. We had
Hmm.
coaches knocking on people's doors and telling them, "Let's go for runs and stuff." It was pretty bad. It was it was pretty bad. I've never heard of that before in my life either, but I heard it recently. When it was done, I was shocked. But it just goes to show he's trying to get them to run into a well-oiled machine. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that onto the fact for the traditional Spurs exciting football, like you said, play football. It's going to be I'll do the spoiler alert early. I think Spurs are going to win.
Wow, guys, लेकिन मैं यही दिखा रहा हूँ स्क्रीन पर इतने देर से क्यों रखा हूँ क्योंकि if you actually see it's at the Emirates, right?
Pretty
Now
close.
Arsenal,
Pretty
look at
close.
the results between Arsenal and Tottenham at the Emirates in the Premier
They
League,
have
right?
not won
Especially
since 2010.
18.
I think it was Yunus Kabul, the
No,
old
I think
center
I
front
see
center.
one 2018 February mein they won. I think this was a game.
I
Let's
think
see
it
what will.
was this. No, no.
Yeah,
At
it
that
was.
was at not at the Emirates. Na, in the Emirates they haven't.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I think you're probably
In the
right. You're
Emirates
probably
they have
right.
not
Wow.
won from 2010, 2012, something like that. Something like that.
Wow, that's crazy यार मतलब absolutely. लेकिन हाँ, if you talk about the team form, even like team form में देखो तो you can almost argue that it's kind of similar, man. As in, with all due respect, I know that हम बोल रहे हैं कि यार Arsenal are right up there. They might challenge City yet again.
Yeah.
लेकिन it's not out of the thoughts कि कहीं ना कहीं Tottenham, if they get a result this weekend, game changer क्यों? मतलब for me, that will be a statement. And like you said, bhai, it's been over a decade that they've actually had that performance at the Emirates. As much as itna rivalry hai, bahut close matches hote and all that, I don't see it being like a one-sided match for sure. It's going to be a proper derby is bar. Or I think the fact is Arsenal again, like we showed, there are a few players missing. First of all, Richarlison ka jo performance tha last weekend. Do you think that's good enough for Richarlison to come and start this time? Yeah, ki you say because an away game
No, no,
anyway,
no,
Saul
no.
needs
I
to start
think,
up
I
front.
think, I think, I think right now you gotta play him off the bench.
Mhm.
I think they seem to be at the moment playing better without Richarlison. Also, I'm a very firm believer of when people perform well, you shouldn't change them. It doesn't matter
Mhm.
what the name of the player is, because what happens is, in case that player gets injured again, The other player who was informed, basically you basically just made him cool off, sit on the bench. You should always play with a hot hand. Always choose the players with a hot hand. I believe, at least if you have them. If you don't have them, then you obviously have to play whoever you have. And I
Hmm.
think they should not change. I think that momentum from that comeback win will boost everyone, give them proper. Son said it. I mean, I wouldn't say it personally, but Son had some interesting comments to say about the Arsenal game. So he
Yeah.
seems very confident, which at the beginning of the season looked quite the opposite. If you remember how his season started. So you have to go with the confidence. Madison's first NLD as well. Brennan Johnson might have a first NLD. There's a lot of wild cards. I think that's the other advantage Tottenham have now. They have a bunch of wild cards playing in this team, so
Hmm.
they might not feel the NLD pressure as previous Spurs teams did, going to the Emirates in particular. So that's a good thing.
यप यप एब्सोल्युटली भाई मतलब हम पहले तो भाई मीम वो सब चलाते थे टॉटनहम के प्रीव्यू करने के पहले अभी यार थिंग्स हैव चेंज्ड अगेन बट वन गाय दैट इज रियली इम्प्रेस मी अगर ये आप जो स्क्रीन पर देख रहे हो सब लोग एक बंदा जो सच में मतलब सबसे ज्यादा इम्प्रेस कौन किया एक प्लेयर जो आप नाम लीजिए बिटवीन आर्सेनल एंड टॉटनहम दिस सीजन मतलब फॉर मी आप लोग भी बोलिए चैट में सब लोग नेथन फॉर मी इज बिन उडोगी इन द लेफ्ट बैक पोजीशन
Yes.
द वे दैट ही मूव फॉरवर्ड हम हमेशा करते हैं किसने क्या उखाड़ा भाई वीकेंड में there's not a single week that we don't discuss Udogi. Every week we are mentioning his name. Romero is also, I know, as much as we are, appreciating कि Ange ball is attacking football and all that. And I know जब वो statement आया था कि Romero is the best center back in the world, I was like, really? But the way that he's performed in the last 5 weeks, मतलब at least on form, one cannot really argue that as much as you would. I know, लेकिन the fact is that defense with Vicario coming in, kahin na kahin, it is giving them more confidence. Ironically, with Loris not being there in the team anymore, so Pedro Porro, Dogi, are playing those attacking fullback role with Romero being very solid. Bissouma and Sarr obviously have helped, but I think again, I didn't expect them to be as solid. I expected the Ange ball, nice football and all that. Like, actually, people are not associating. Tottenham are actually being very solid. Coming to Arsenal, they have been very very solid as well as much as it doesn't really please me लेकिन गोलकीपर भाई सब लोग बोलिए two clean sheets Ramsdale wasn't there in goal but already linked to Chelsea in the last weekend वो तो अलग बात है हर एक प्लेयर वर्ल्ड में if they are not playing they are linked to the Chelsea or Manchester United लेकिन what do you think Nathan who is the better goalkeeper is it David Raya or Ramsdale everyone in the chat as well please
It is David Raya, because David Raya is someone we were also looking for when we were looking for goalkeepers initially. I think
mm-hmm.
it is unfortunately David Raya, and I say unfortunately not because, well, I have nothing nice to say about Arsenal in general, but to be quite honest, I feel hard done for Ramsdale, because I think Ramsdale was part of the key to their success last year. And he's unfortunately, during preseason he had a personal issue, and I would rather not talk about it. That could have, you never know. Like, it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing for Richarlison. You don't know how everybody's being affected by their personal issues, and he had a really really sad personal issue, and you don't know if he's really bounced back from it, because, like you said, a new goalkeeper's come in, 2 clean sheets. Who's better? David Raya. You could argue David Raya was always better because he played for Brentford and he was doing really well. And but I guess time will tell now. But I think it is Raya. I have to say it is. But I do feel really bad for Ramsdale, though. I have to be honest. I can't believe Pickford gets picked over him, which is really frustrating for me personally. But yeah, um, time will tell, I think.
बिल्कुल अजय रौनक यार थैंक्स फॉर बिकमिंग अ मेंबर ग्रेट वेलकम टू द फैमिली एज वेल लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ अदर्स भाई जो भी लोग यहाँ पर मेंबर्स बन रहे फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यस मच थैंक्स अगेन बट डू डीएम यार हमें बहुत सारा चीज करना है एज मेंबर्स वी डिस्कस ऑन अ डेली बेसिस ऑलमोस्ट ऑन द एबीएफसी मेंबर्स ग्रुप ऑन इंस्टाग्राम इवन ट्विटर there's a group if you are active there not on Instagram you can DM me हमारे लिंक्स ऑलवेज बॉटम ऑफ द डिस्क्रिप्शन हर एक डिस्क्रिप्शन के बॉटम में रहते हैं हमारे लिंक्स so if you can DM me so that I can add you as a reminder रौनक प्लीज कंसिडर डूइंग दैट राइट अवे और साथ साथ में भाई देयर इज अ प्रेडिक्शन लीग रौनक राइट टाइमिंग क्योंकि आज रात को मैंने डालना है प्रेडिक्शन लीग का से the message I'll be posting on the community post of the members. So आप लोग कल सुबह first thing you can put it so that we are adding points there as well. Streams of Dreams क्या हाल है? Nice to see. Swap Kane was not a problem. Yeah, no one said Kane is a problem. लेकिन what I'm trying to say, sometimes what happens ना, अगर आपके क्लब में एक ऐसा बंदा होता है who's like literally one of the best, or rather let's be real, he is probably the best striker in the world on form right now. You can almost argue, right? Again, I know people here are talking like Balde versus Logi. I didn't mean to say exactly he's the best. When I say one of the best, it's one of the best, and Kane is in the conversation similarly. So plus Tottenham में those records, and of course being the talisman of Tottenham, when that person kind of is there, कहीं ना कहीं everything goes through him. अब जो Son है as a captain, he's not say that kind of personality. He's a different personality. Sometimes it might help, especially when you have a new regime. वो अलग बात है कि चेल्सी का अलग हो गया, उस पर आएंगे. चेल्सी का थिंग्स आर नॉट गोइंग गुड राइट नाउ, बट it can only go positive. It cannot go worse, is what I would say. But एक और बंदा यार मैं बात करना चाहूंगा quickly. I think Trossard has really impressed. कहीं ना कहीं Arsenal fans are unhappy that Martinelli is injured. But in my strange opinion, ये वाला game ऐसा है. I know Martinelli is also very impressive, but considering that there might be some half spaces available in between, considering it's North London derby, considering यार Tottenham are actually not going to be playing for a draw for once with Arsenal despite the record. हो सकता है that Trossard might actually be equally if not more effective, क्योंकि he's someone who could go wide as well as come central. तो वहां पर I think it's an interesting one because I believe he's really got a great form and some goals in him, even compared to Martinelli. So I think he's probably got it right in terms of deserving in that 11. But quickly, if guys, do you guys want to do a quick combined 11, or we'll come back to it after other matches? Everyone in the chat, do let us know. I want to do a quick combined 11 of Arsenal and Tottenham. लेकिन आप लोग बोलिए, we can come back to it after discussing the rest of the matches. If you wish, let me know in the comments. लेकिन Messi is good again. Welcome to the membership, bro. व्हाट्सअप नहीं, ये वाला रियल वाला है, फेक वाले को मैंने हटा दिया है. दो सेम पिक्चर वाले डाले थे, एक बंदा हेट स्प्रेड कर रहा था. दिस इज द रियल वन इज व्हाट आई एम अस्यूमिंग. इफ नॉट विल गेट टू नो in course of time, don't worry. Who are the key players for both the teams? What about Havertz also? By how do you see like, I know again in midweek he got some praise from Arteta. They're trying their best to kind of protect him, etc. But and I know पहले 2-3 week में I think Howard got some unfair hit, but I think after the first 2-3 weeks I agree that he does not deserve to be in the 11, despite maybe because of injuries is there, right?
I don't think he deserved to play in the 11 at all. Like,
Correct.
I don't understand. Like, I don't understand the signing. Good for you all for offloading him. That's all I can say. I don't understand. They could have used that money and bought 15 players that are playing in better form than him.
Let's put it this
But
way. They kind of avoided getting Mudryk right away. Although Mudryk in future, I still think he has a lot of potential. But right now, Trossard is a far better player. But वो जो compensation Chelsea ने की है वहां पर, by taking Havertz, they've kind of balanced it for now at least. While Havertz, again, he's still young. People forget. I'm not going to protect him, but I agree with Nathan 100%. Yeah,
I
he
mean,
doesn't
I
deserve to
mean,
be there.
he is young, but also after all these years under Chelsea and Leverkusen, how much the he is young part even applies anymore?
You know
Like
what? Devesh has a
realistic,
point. Fabio Vieira deserves.
you should definitely play Fabio Vieira in front of it for sure,
Hmm.
for
कोई
sure.
नहीं.
You
But
also Fabio Vieira has a good shot on him from distance as well. If the box gets crowded, for sure you should play Fabio Vieira in front of him. For sometimes I've realized something in football. If you spend enough money on someone, right, they are automatically obligated to play you. It doesn't matter if you think they're good. It doesn't matter if you think they're in a rough patch. You're automatically obligated to play them. I've realized that. I've realized between Sancho, Anthony, Maguire, Havertz. I'm sure you can name other players from other teams as well. I've realized as soon as you pay a certain amount and people go, why are they spending money on this? Automatically, those people start, and I think that's how they get even more pressure initially. And I think Havertz has not been I think Havertz has been quite susceptible to that. Granted, he had a whole bad season at Chelsea as well, so it's just piled on continuously into the next year. But if you notice, if you spend enough money on someone, there's a very good chance they're going to start whether they play well or not, more often than not. Richarlison's the best example. Did he not only score one goal last season?
Yeah,
He scored one goal last
exactly.
season, didn't he? It's the same thing.
एब्सोल्युटली.
But yeah,
अच्छा चलो यहाँ पर आई बिलीव देयर इज अ फेक, मतलब मुझे तो कुछ लग नहीं रहा यार. इज देयर समवन हु इज बेसिकली. चलो भाई यहाँ पर और आ गए. कोई नहीं. देखो मॉड्स. वन थिंग, लेट्स फोकस ऑन द स्ट्रीम, लेट्स इग्नोर द हेटर्स. द मोमेंट मॉड सिंपल सा रूल ऑफ थंब है. If someone crosses the line in the chat, is someone crossing the line in the chat right now? I don't think so. So the moment someone crosses the line in the chat, then you give them a warning. If they don't listen to you even after that, then you give them a final thing कि नहीं, give them a timeout and say that before giving a timeout that I'm going to give you a timeout. If you don't stop it, we're going to block you, right? And then the third time also they don't do, then you can block them, but just let me know before blocking. That's all I'm asking. There are three basic steps, but if anyone is not doing anything in the chat, let's focus on the stream and let's not speak this, because that makes our stream and video bad, right? And that's their agenda. What's the most memorable North London derby that you remember? For me, 4-4 all, obviously, man. 4-all. Why, that
I
was a
like the
brilliant.
Bentley one. The Bentley
Yeah,
one was a good one.
yes. Yes, I think that's the same one, right? Was it not the same one?
No, that is the one that precedes the Yunus Kabul one. That was in 2010.
अच्छा. ओके. मतलब अगेन, मतलब नॉर्थ लंदन डार्बी मुझे तो ये याद है, मतलब मोर देन एनीथिंग इट्स द एटमॉस्फेयर, द बिल्ड अप. मतलब ऑन द वे
Old
जब वो
White Hart
लड़ाई होती
Lane.
है.
Old White
माइंड
Hart
ब्लोइंग.
Lane, Old Highbury.
मतलब इट्स नॉट गुड ऑल दोस थिंग्स, लेकिन स्टेटिंग फ्रॉम फार, दैट होलिगनिज्म जो है
Hooliganism.
इंग्लैंड में, which actually kind of कहीं ना कहीं stemmed from this North London derby, and that's something which cannot deny. North London derby and Manchester United Liverpool, these are like two in England that we know, always associate that hooliganism. और भाई मैं कैसे बोल दिया दो बार ये वर्ड, पता नहीं. लेकिन that's how it goes. लेकिन again, Puneet would love to see others promoting our channel as well, bro, in the chat. लेकिन big up to you. लेकिन भाई, talk about that. Let's all subscribe into Sports on Nathan. Come, everyone. Let's actually support the fam. Hope ये क्या?
Veliz is a player from
Veliz कौन
in
है?
Spurs. Young player.
अच्छा, I don't know. Great man, great stuff. Vanderwaart, bhai. Vanderwaart was some. I think Pavlyuchenko, Vanderwaart, Nico Krankiar. I think that era wasn't too bad. To be honest, I actually like that.
Vedran Choluka, Benoit Suekoto.
Hmm. Okay, एक second. Bhai, mods, I'm just putting a message now. This is something that you need to do in future. Yeah. So I've just said it twice and still it's coming on. As much as I love Puneet, bro, I'm singling out for a reason, because बाकी लोग को पता लगना चाहिए ऐसे और को तो yes,
There you go.
absolutely.
Benoit
लेकिन
Suekoto.
while we come back to Spurs, पता नहीं यार, Spurs का actually सच में बोलो तो all time 11 Arsenal Spurs का combined will be even more fun, but we'll come back to it because there are other games. And yes, guys, we have to talk about Chelsea and the problems of Chelsea. Or by 40 minutes into the stream, we are seeing a lot of likes not increased. Lekin bhai, let's have all the Chelsea fans and the neutrals giving their fair opinion in the chat, everyone. So bhai, one of the worst जो expectations मैंने किया था उससे भी बदतर हो रहा है. Trust me, I'm not even joking. I was a guy who was saying that Pochettino should not be the manager. आप लोग देखते ही थे भाई, 6 महीने पहले जो हुआ था. A lot of things happened. I was not for him, but finally having gotten him, finally having made so many transfers and literally changed the entire squad. Yes, we have about 10 injuries, ठीक है, that has to be taken into consideration, but all the time we cannot we just keep saying that. क्योंकि why? Poch played a lot of youngsters in that preseason. I know preseason, लेकिन वो preseason हमारी easy preseason नहीं थी. We played
Oh, hold on,
Dortmund, we played
Ankit bhai,
Newcastle
sorry to
and
cut you
others.
off. You didn't actually predict the NLD. You didn't actually say what you're going for. I just
Oh yeah,
realized you didn't say the
I just took
score.
the chat's opinion, but कोई नहीं,
Just
मतलब
totally forgot you
नहीं, I
didn't
will
pick
coming back to
anything.
NLD ना. I've not done that. We'll come back
Oh,
to it.
okay,
So
okay,
we
okay.
have to do combined 11 predictions as well. तो वो भी है. I just highlighted that. लेकिन हाँ, just continuing and we're coming back to NLD guys. But about Chelsea, भाई मतलब there are so many things that one can speak and point out that this is the issue, this is the issue. To say the way that the club is run, or I know Todd Bowley and all are trying to do the best, कहीं ना कहीं, but it all depends on what you do on the pitch. आपके पास injuries है ठीक है, but Poch cannot just speak the right things and not do the right things. Like for example, playing all those youngsters in preseason, giving them chances, and then showing कि यार Poch is the same Poch what he used to be at Spurs or at Southampton, and then doing something totally different right now with Ben Chilwell getting a lot of minutes, for example, compared to others. Even last week मैं बोलता हूँ भाई, against Bournemouth 0-0, yes, we were not great in the second half at all. First half we were unlucky, almost hit the bar, crossbar once, hit the post once. लेकिन at least he played a better team. सब लोग चेल्सी के लिए बताइए, what is the best 11 right now that Poch should be using? Team news quickly मैं बोलता हूँ, Caicedo might not be available. Poch is confirmed it's not a major injury, but he had some discomfort, so looks like he might be on the bench at best. Definitely Madueke का भी same है. I don't think he's fit enough to be in the 11 as well. Not that I would have played him anyway, but again expected यही है कि Colwell will yet again play at left back. But having seen so much of Chilwell, and of course Luke Shaw versus Chilwell वाला debate होता है for England all the time, Nathan. What is your opinion? Because Chilwell has not looked good since pre-season even. So what is the issue? Is it the fact कि हमने इतने सारे players को sign कर लिया, or the fact that he's giving him a slightly more leadership role as much as Gallagher was a leader last time around?
Yeah, I was shocked. So someone said in the chat, I don't know when Gallagher was made captain. I was like, really? Like, that was that very interesting move. That was, I thought personally. See, the thing about Ben Chilwell is, no, see, I know I'm going to get roasted by Chelsea fans here, but the reason I always pick Luke Shaw for two reasons is, one is he's more solid, and two is after the leg break, at least many years after the leg break, he's become significantly less injury prone. Now I don't know if that's something to do with his new physical fitness and all, but I genuinely think Ben Chilwell is that player that when he's on fire, no, I genuinely believe he's unstoppable. Like when he's on fire, I think he can go toe to toe with the best of them. The thing is, injuries has hampered his momentum. Now new leadership roles, new position. I was like, I saw Ben Chilwell on the left wing. I was like, Jesus, yeah, thank God we don't have Poch. I was like, because I would have lost my bloody mind. I really would have. And I don't believe in this back the manager blindly crap. Yeah? Because at the end of the day, these managers come and go, and we have to deal with the damage they have done. And as a United fan, and every United fan in the chat now will know exactly what I'm talking about without saying names, because saying names also is not even worth the issue. So I think Ben Chilwell, as you know, Ankit bhai, I've always said it. Please play the players in their position. Yeah, I don't give a shit if you're the biggest tactical genius that ever lived. Play your players in the position to maximize their gains. It's simple. Any sport related, any life related thing. Play the people
Correct.
and in their position. And if you are not happy with them, change the formation. Do not change them out of position expecting them to be a left winger.
Correct. Like for example, when Tuchel came in, Tuchel ने पूरा formation change कर लिया था, लेकिन again, like Nathan said, he did not. मतलब I know towards the second season, it was his criticism as well, keep playing Pulisic at right wing back, Loftus-Cheek at right wing back, and stuff like that. I remember those details clearly. Even Hudson-Odoi was played at left wing back in a couple of games. I remember that. But the fact is, at least initially, when the team is already new and so many things have changed, you don't need to change more than that. Like especially when you have so many injuries, जो आप देख रहे हो screen पर. Or I think I agree, it's a negative, or it gives the squad, because it's a very very young squad, one of the youngest squads. There's almost like a case of less confidence to say that nahi, this guy does not believe in the youngsters despite being good in preseason. So, and that is so unlike Poch, and that's a surprise. Also, again, is a Chelsea job. Maybe the hierarchy. I don't know. I hope it's not the case. Like, again, he's speaking the right things. Abhishek is saying we have a squad which is good enough to beat Bournemouth at home and get a result at Forest away. So the manager needs to be questioned along with the experienced players. Absolutely no excuse. And yes, talk about the experienced players.
I agree, Abhishek. But if I may just counter it, I feel sometimes no, there are teams we sleep on because their stadiums don't fill 50,000 people in it, and they're not a staple in the Premier League. Bournemouth has literally shown last season. Just go ask Arsenal fans. This close to literally ruining their season. They have that thing in the bag, in the toolkit, that they can come, and if you give them enough chances, they will embarrass you and upset you. Nottingham Forest has proven it. They
अच्छा
have
यहाँ
it
पर
in,
हाँ प्लीज.
that's the thing. You have the squad to beat them. I don't think anyone denies that. I genuinely think any 11 you pick should beat Bournemouth. But if you give them the opportunities and they fall back, like Sheffield United against Spurs, then it
Mm.
becomes difficult. Becomes difficult for any team to like
And that's
hit
the
a
thing,
note.
right? Because we need to see the fixture list as well. It's a very tough fixture list now for Chelsea. मतलब that was a must win. लेकिन ठीक है, we cannot kind of keep bygones वाला चीज हमने accept करना है, and we have to move on. And the good part is, like I said, couple of people जो again media man doesn't help us. मतलब Manchester United Chelsea is मतलब if you take a survey, we are the most hated clubs in terms of numbers. That's a real thing. क्योंकि media तो भाई उनको बहाना चाहिए. तो क्या होता है ना, मुड्रिक फॉर पीपल ऑल दोस रील्स, वो लोग देखे नहीं होंगे मैच. Mudrik actually in the first half actually had a good first half. Second half I agree that he was shit, but first half he actually had a good first half. And but I think he needs to start. And also आप देख सकते हो that कुछ न्यूज था भी नहीं आउट ऑफ काइसेडो, ये हो गया आउट फॉर सो मेनी वीक्स एंड मंथ्स. एंड बाडियाशीर इज अगेन वेरी बैड. आई नो सेटबैक है, बट इट डजंट मीन आप सब लोग मेडिकल एक्सपर्ट्स क्यों बन जाते हो और जर्नलिस्ट. आई डोंट अंडरस्टैंड दैट मच. बट again, the good part is we don't have as many people bad injured as what we had anticipated in the break, during the when सब लोग खेल रहे थे यूरोप में. लेकिन हाँ, हेड टू हेड देखे तो भाई we all remember April Fool's Day. No, not a good day where Chelsea lost. Pretty sure वहां पर तो भाई by the time our season was already gone. लेकिन losing 2-0 at home. Having said that, मतलब इवन ये वाला आप देखो तो दिसंबर 2022 11, अच्छा ये वाला भी यार, हाँ आई थिंक इट वाज अ क्लब फ्रेंडली. ओके, दैट वाज अ क्लब फ्रेंडली जहां पर आई बिलीव ब्रोया वाज इंजर्ड. इफ आई एम करेक्ट, yes, that was a match where we had Broya injured, who's by the way back, but he may not be back for this match yet, and it seems like. But still, man, matlab Unai Emery. But basically speaking, will it be a good evening for Aston Villa or Chelsea? Bottom line, main question is, काफी अटैकिंग साइड है. व्हाट डू यू ऑल थिंक? आई एम प्रीटी श्योर ये वाला 11 ही शुरू करेगा, एज मच एज वी वुड वांट बेन चिलवेल टू स्टार्ट एट लेफ्ट बैक. लेकिन चेल्सी के तो यही शुरू करेंगे. एस्टन विला, they have a solid kind of a midfield. You can argue that Douglas Luiz, very underrated midfielder, he had a good performance last week around as well. Pau Torres, what a signing, bhai. मैंने जब I was lucky enough to be called on Sony TV, the first thing when John Dykes asked is which player do you want at Chelsea, I remember that was my answer, Pau Torres, because at that time we had just lost Rudiger, right, and we wanted someone for the left center back role, because मुझे पता था Guardiola तो आने नहीं वाला था, तो that was my guy. But again, what about Mr. Good Evening, yaar? Matlab, it's been up and down. Let's be real. Aston Villa's form hasn't been the best of the best. Like, it's been up and down. What are you saying?
Yeah, I think speaking of teams that everyone thought would have upward momentum, I believe it applies very much to Aston Villa as well. I thought the Aston Villa Newcastle game was going to be an absolute barn burner. It turned out to be a battle of attrition which Newcastle won late into the game. And then everyone was looking around and going, "Oh my God, they're not going to do so well this time, are they?" And then they popped back with a 4-0 win. Then they beat Burnley 3-1. But at this rate, it seems like everybody's beating Burnley, so that doesn't seem good. When we thought they're going to give a tough game to Liverpool, they got completely destroyed by Liverpool. That was the one
Hmm.
that shocked me. So
Correct.
technically, they have
3-0,
lost to
right? It
Newcastle
was.
and Liverpool. They have lost to Liverpool and Newcastle, which I think a lot of teams are going to have those losses
And they lost in
unfortunately this season.
midweek as well. I know it was an away game in the Conference League, but that didn't help. And
Who did they
they
play?
were there. I don't know, but basically they had lost. Doesn't matter who they played, but basically they were traveling away and they lost. So there will be actually, you know what? Let me bring it up, because the fact is, let me see who started that game, which matters more for me. Like in
Hmm.
they had okay, Liga Warsaw, yeah, it's a decent team. Liga Warsaw against a 3-2. I didn't watch the match though, if I'm being real. Only the highlights, the goals at best I watched, but yeah,
I
ये
don't think
वाला.
anyone's going to blame. I don't think anyone's going to blame you for not watching that match, Ankit.
नहीं, but basically speaking, in Conference League, Aston Villa, in my opinion, has a chance this time. I must say,
Yeah,
good
they
evening is
do.
good in Europe, यार, हमें पता ही है. But I think this was the game that they
Hmm.
played, and I
Chambers,
think
Chambers, Konsa, Longley, Diego
so they
Carlos at
had.
left back.
तो
Oh,
देखो
Digne,
डीनिया,
Digne.
टीलेमंस बाय द वे इज नॉट स्टार्टिंग फॉर देम, व्हिच इज सरप्राइजिंग. लेकिन हाँ ठीक है, देयर मिडफील्ड इज एनीवे डूइंग इट. कमारा, डीनिया, बेली, मैगिन, probably four starters started and Martinez. Five people who start usually started that game. So it will have an effect for sure, right? As in, considering this, you still see them surprising Chelsea because the bench is pretty strong in that game as well, which is
Yeah,
saying
I
there's
mean,
no
look at
starting.
them. They bought them all on 61 minutes. They bought on their first team players, all five of them, in a span of 5 minutes.
So I
Um,
think Chelsea has to do better यार. मैं तो बोलता हूँ मैं जाने वाला था Chelsea to get a draw at best against Good Evening. लेकिन I believe it might be a good evening for Chelsea. I think हमें जीतना चाहिए मैच. I know, लेकिन odd goal by the odd goal. Exactly, one is match. I cannot see Chelsea scoring two goals. Villa 2-0 बोल रहे, Chelsea 0-0. But it's high time that इतना जो अच्छा हो रहा है ना हमारा stats and all that, we convert those chances यार. I think we are among the top teams in terms of XG, in terms of basically shots, in terms of basically whatnot. तो और प्री सीजन में हमने गोल्स किया था तो डेफिनेटली कार्नी एंड इंकुंकू आर ह्यूज मिसेस इन दैट फ्रंट थ्री. But generally, I think we should be able to score at least one goal, and the idea is to keep a clean sheet. And where Thiago Silva 39 birthday celebrate किया, वो Thiago Silva in the chat हो जाए. I think definitely should help us. लेकिन predictions, Nathan, for you.
so initially, I was going to go for an Aston Villa win, but if I'm being honest, I think Chelsea should get something out of this. I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1, chalo. Tiger Beast, Broya has not been match fit up till now, so I don't think you can blame Poch there anything. Or transfer window, भाई देखो, मतलब आपने देखा होगा, we release a shot and not just us, many channels would have done that. Chelsea actually had a good transfer window. If you actually ask me, we had a good transfer window. You can argue on the price जो हमने pay किया, but to get rid of so many people who were seem to be not bothered and change them with very high potential is good. Yes, experience is lacking अभी भी, लेकिन we did not, no one anticipated कि एंकुंकू, कार्नी, मडुएके, आपके लाविया आते ही everyone will get injured. So there's something wrong behind the scenes in terms of medical. I don't think, or maybe the way Poch trains, I don't know, might be. But Reece James in particular, भाई, is a huge miss as much as Gusto has been. So I don't think transfers पर हम rely कर सकते. मैं वही बोल रहा हूँ, Chelsea fans, मैंने एक tweet किया था कल. People might have given me hate, I don't know, in their mind. पता नहीं कितना कर्ज किए होंगे मुझे. I said, Chelsea fans, I love you, bro. I love you, everyone. लेकिन the problem is, we keep talking about transfers no matter what. Let's move on. Let's talk about football. We need to focus on the football, backup players, and hopefully we can criticize on the football we are playing. And then everything, the answer is not a transfer. Manchester United is the greatest example. I mean, Nathan is here. Nathan, when Sir Alex made those changes all those years ago, and he did that twice, thrice, he did that because he was able to train them better. As in, you need to have that ability to able to get the best out of players. That is not coming right now.
You know what I think I think most coaches are missing that they could really learn from Sir Alex is that in some cases he took out star players and bought on utility players and made
Mhm.
them good, like a Darren Fletcher, like an Anderson. Nowadays, in a way, I understand what your subscribers are saying. It makes sense, right? Because everyone goes, we spend so much money. But if you're going to spend so much money, why not get better players? Because some of these prices you could have actually got good players for.
मतलब,
Like not
for
all of
example,
them, but you would have
Madison,
got better.
Soboslai,
Yeah,
and Vlahovic, three people that Chelsea
yeah,
fans are saying that
yeah,
we should have
sure.
got.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm not taking any names. I'm just saying in general, like if you just put the
Correct.
number, you could have got a
Uh,
good player instead of
as
the player
in,
that you
again, I
currently
would
have.
like to slightly rephrase that, Nathan, if I'm allowed to.
No
I would
problem.
say the players are good. I don't think we have bought any shit players. What I'm saying is we have bought potential. We should buy
Yeah,
players who are ready right now as well. It
exactly.
was
That's what I mean. For the same price, you
correct.
could have bought. When I mean better players, I mean better right now is what I meant. So yeah. So I understand what the Chelsea fans feel. I suppose I would be really pissed off too if I spent 800 million in 8 months and finished 10th. I think I would have been too. I don't. I
Especially
sympathize
2 years
that way.
after winning the Champions League, Nathan.
Yeah, I mean, I would sympathize based on that, right? Like you won't get sympathy from other fans because they would love to be in your position, which is, of course, me. I agree. I would love to have 800 million. We probably wouldn't have to buy anyone this season if we gave 800 million to Ten Hag. But I get it. I get it. I feel bad for Chelsea in a way, in this way, right? It's like they are blessed with the money, but probably not blessed with the decision makers. Like
Hmm.
imagine what Ralph Ragnick would have done with 800 million. Can you imagine? I'm seeing everyone go. Alvarez is a baller. Neighbors playing better right back. I was like, God, yeah, I wanted to
Bro,
cry.
one
I
second.
wanted
We
to
have to
cry.
stop the stream right now, at least for that. Just pause it for 1 second. Bhai, that's a great compliment, man, for Nathan. And probably you're right. Neeraj Chopra, the hero of India, bro, is what Hasib is saying. You look like Chelsea should have gone for Declan Rice. Dekho, I trust that Caicedo is a very good player. Yes, he's been proven only for 1.5 seasons at best. लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं एंजो एंड काइसेडो मिडफील्ड आई डोंट थिंक आई कैन कंप्लेन कम ऑन एज एन आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू कंप्लेन दैट लेकिन मैं एग्री करता हूं नेथन एंड टाइगर बीच यहाँ पर इन टर्म्स ऑफ द गोल स्कोरर्स we could have gotten one more name. देखो again we had a choice between Nkunku and Vlahovic or maybe even worst case keeping Lakaka. Probably that is the right decision we have taken. But definitely Nkunku was not a bad decision. Come on, Nkunku is still a very but the
No, no,
last
like
2 seasons he's
I,
been
I,
brilliant. It's
I,
just
I
injuries.
don't. I see. I think it's very dangerous to scapegoat certain players, Ankit, by simply because right, it's not their fault. They're
Huh,
going
it's
for the
not in their
crisis.
hands totally, right? And again, injuries
But
also
that
is
being
something.
said, there is a certain sense of pride. Like if I am worth this much, no, I need to go and show that the owners who have backed me. It's not about the money. The owners have backed me, saying I'm going to spend this much money on you because I think you are a good player. I think
Correct.
that's where they should show up. In that sense, they should show up. In that sense, they should have personal
And
pride.
Poch needs to
That way.
voice that. Poch needs to voice that. I know that he's speaking the right things for the media. Like, and I'm hoping and praying that bhai, behind the scenes, he's actually bhai, he's doing a Tuchel. Tuchel was a micromanager, and that's why Tuchel loses some players. Same like Conte and Jose Mourinho as well. I actually like those managers, those Simeone, the Contes, the Tuchels, the Jose Mourinho, because ये सब लोग है ना मतलब these are all people who are in the early 20s at best on average ठीक है चेल्सी में
Yeah.
तो sometimes they need to be told simple as that as much as they might be multimillionaires the fact is आप लोग को realization not everyone is as smart and kind of mature to do that no pitch not everyone is what a Roy Keane was at 25 I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
exactly. Multi-millionaires doesn't mean you're smart. You're just good at football. You know, it's
Correct.
not the same. It's not the same thing.
Exactly. I mean, in
Yeah.
fact, आप तो बोल सकते हो they might not have as much awareness in life generally, right? So you need your
Yeah,
coach, your
absolutely.
management,
Can I'll
senior
just give you a
players.
little side note. Jack Grealish in the pandemic had an accident with his car, even though he wasn't supposed to be out. That's why we kind
Mhm.
of weren't interested. We dropped our interest then. Kyle Walker had parties. He's a 34-year-old man. Like I said, you can be a multi-millionaire and good at football. That doesn't make you smart. It doesn't
Yes,
make you
absolutely.
smart at all. Yeah, but you're just talented. Talented doesn't equal IQ.
Correct.
I
So
don't think so, at least.
exactly. तो हम FIFA खाली नहीं खेल रहे. We they are actually there in the pitch. So again, I would go back to saying that why forget the recruitment, forget the transfers. I believe in the transfers, not 100%, but at least 90% in Chelsea. प्रॉब्लम अभी ये है कि भाई लेट्स गेट देम फिट लेट्स गेट देम प्ले टुगेदर इसलिए आप देख रहे हो सब्स्टिट्यूशन भी काफी बहुत सारा हम देख रहे हैं यार वी आर गेटिंग अ लॉट ऑफ क्रिटिसिज्म फ्रॉम चेल्सी फैन बेस आई थिंक पॉच इज ट्राइंग टू गेट देम टू वर्क टुगेदर एज मच एज पॉसिबल जब भी पॉसिबल हो तो आई थिंक द फैक्ट इज पीपल आर सेइंग वी डोंट हैव यूरोपियन फुटबॉल इज गुड जैसे अभी तक लग रहा है आई डोंट थिंक इट्स कम अक्रॉस एज गुड व्हाई बिकॉज वी आर हैविंग लेसर मैचेस और दैट इज सेइंग कि यार हमने ऑल द एग्स इन वन बास्केट वाला प्रेशर और भी बढ़ जाता है इन दैट मैच सो मे बी समटाइम्स इट्स अ बिट ऑफ बोथ बट लॉट ऑफ पीपल आर रॉ एंड वी नीड टू काइंड ऑफ मिक्स इट अप अ लिटिल बिट बट बॉटम लाइन क्या है ट्रेडिंग में टाइगर बीस्ट एवरीवन इन द हाउस मैं बोलना चाहता हूँ कि आई होप कि जस्ट एक शॉट्स ऑन टारगेट लेने की प्रैक्टिस करो यार और मतलब से that problem is there right from Lampard first stint era that we are not getting so many finishes we are creating so many chances and again even in defense by crosses set pieces literally हर एक हफ्ता सेम चीज बात कर रहे हैं and Aston Villa again is the team which actually is very good on those yeah the crosses from the wings and all that and of course set pieces में काफी मतलब physical team भी हो सकती है लेकिन Emery यार good at his draws I think अभी के
And
लिए
you know,
Aston
and you
Villa
know what
7.
is their, you know what is their best attribute, I've realized, at least when they play their way of playing football, anybody can contribute. They are kind of in a weird way, they're like a diet Man City, like McGinn can get a goal or an assist, Ramsey can get a goal and assist, Douglas Lewis can get a goal and an assist. Everyone can contribute in the team. They're very, very capable. Their fullbacks are very capable. Their centre backs, when fit, Konza can be capable to get a goal. Pau Torres is a good
Correct.
quality player. It's like you can get something from anyone. So, it's not an over reliance on one focal point. Much like the Chilwell left wing, oh, yeah, everyone's injured now. We're going to use Chilwell up front so he doesn't have to bother going at the back. He's going to start whipping crosses. But that's against his nature, right? He's used to overlapping, taking the pressure off, and whipping an open cross. As a left winger, he's the first person marked, especially in a defensive team. He's the first person everyone's going to look at because he's the main guy, especially when Reece James is not on the other side. And there are youngsters in the middle. They'll go for, okay, we need to mark the guy who's basically been there, done that, because he's the one. If we shut him down, much like Haaland, we can actually be in this game for a much longer period of time. So that's why I think even Chilwell's not being successful because Colwell, I've not seen a game with Colwell playing at left back, I'll be honest, but I'm going to assume he doesn't really take the pressure off of Chilwell at left wing. I'm just going to assume that. I haven't seen, someone can correct me. I don't mind. The timings have not worked out where I've got to see the teams I wanted to see this season.
So what's
So
your
just,
question?
just
Can you repeat that?
has Levi Colwell taken the pressure off Chilwell when he plays at left wing to do the comfortable overlaps, to get that
No, no.
extra
So
space in
Levi
there?
Colville has put in some beautiful balls. I think his ball playing ability over the top is, not hidden now. Now that we have seen him in Brighton as well as for England under 21s as well as for Chelsea. But the problem is Levi Colville in terms of physicality is not up there in my opinion yet. Plus, एक और चीज है भाई. I think he's a bit too calm on the ball. Sometimes it's a good thing, but sometimes it's not also a bad thing because you need that vibe in the team. Especially in the Poch aggressive pressing wala system is not too great in my opinion. That rubs off him and Thiago Silva. With all due respect, the birthday boy Thiago Silva bro yesterday. लेकिन भाई दोनों थोड़ा slow रहे on the ball. Third thing is that Levi Colwill compared to Chilwell is not a goal scorer in the box. Not that Chilwell is great like an Alonso. I'm not going to say that. Lekin the fact is that Chilwell definitely is better than Levi Colwill in terms of even heading ability. तो वो issues रहे. So I would say generally that go with it. लेकिन एक comment था यहाँ पर. अभी अभिषेक कमिंग टू कमेंट एज वेल भाई यहाँ पर हमने एक स्क्रीन में डाला है तो प्लीज एवरीवन लेट्स रिस्पेक्ट दैट एंड इट्स अ लाइव स्ट्रीम फॉर अ रीजन गाइस लेकिन पारस ने बोला था यहाँ पर आई थिंक स्टार्टिंग एंजो एज अ 10 इज अ मिस्टेक पुटिंग गैलेगर इन मिडफील्ड विल वीकन यू गाइस भाई पारस इफ आई कैन क्विकली आंसर दैट गैलेगर फॉर व्हाटएवर रीजन भाई एक हो जाता भाई सब लोग कम ऑन ये आंसर है अगर आइए
मैं मरते दम तक किसी के सामने नहीं झुकूंगा आप लोग मेरा साथ दें या ना दें मगर कचरा खेलेगा
भाई ये वाला जो मीम बनाया था लास्ट सीजन दैट वाज बेसिकली कहीं ना कहीं आई वाज पुलिंग माय ओन प्लेयर्स लेग यू ऑल नो दैट आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू सिट हियर भाई शुगर कोट नहीं करने वाला मैं लेकिन रियलिटी ये है गैलेगर एंड स्टर्लिंग हैव बीन द स्टैंड आउट प्लेयर्स ऑफ चेल्सी इन 5 वीक्स and that is a fact and that's how bad Chelsea has been. You can argue that as well क्योंकि Gallagher जो I think Hislop ने भी बोला था in on ESPN that कहीं ना कहीं you have Gallagher was the best player in Crystal Palace and you have Gallagher best player in Chelsea, so you know what Chelsea's level is, that is mid table right now. इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ Chelsea Villa is a 6-pointer guys, इसलिए हम बात कर रहे हैं इतना. It is actually a 6-pointer. Villa is also there भाई वही 7th to 12th वाले positions में unfortunately right now and we'll get back, don't worry, we'll get back. Then Gallagher has to play bro. Enzo का ऐसा है ना, अब एक और रीजन है कि Caicedo is not 100% fit to start the match. Enzo का I agree with your comment, Paras. ये मैं agree करता हूँ. Enzo is best when he sees, pitch in front of him. I get that. लेकिन against Aston Villa, जो नेथन बहुत अच्छे से समझाया, the kind of players that Aston Villa has, you need some protection at midfield, and that's why I'm putting Leslie Ugochukwu, who actually is there. In my opinion, last week had a decent performance. आप Nathan, just in one word, you tell me, is it going to be Leslie Ugochukwu or a Cole Palmer? मतलब should Chelsea at home go a little bit attacking and play Cole Palmer from the start this match and play Enzo as a number 6, or you would go with Leslie Ugochukwu if you're Poch against Aston Villa?
I think you go with Oguchukwu because
Agreed.
I genuinely think that Aston Villa can be dangerous. That's why some of the scores that don't flatter them is quite deceiving. Because the games they lost, they've lost by wide margins, but the games they have won also, they have won by a wide margin. I think this is going to be their first game where it's going to be really tight because there's a lot of uncertainty with the Chelsea team on how they perform on a week-to-week basis. And I think Aston Villa is going to give you all trouble. So more feet in the engine room is a very, I don't want to say safe idea, but it's a very smart idea. You have to call it like it is. Safe doesn't really mean it's going to be safe, but it's a very smart idea. And definitely Oguchukwu. I think maybe Gallagher and Enzo can swap, so Enzo has more of the field to see maybe. But then the thing is, Gallagher provides that work rate. Maybe they should play 3/8.
Gallagher,
maybe a
that
6
intensity, I
and
think
2/8,
intensity is
something
what
like
we are
that.
looking for.
Yeah,
जो चीज
yeah,
कॉलवेल के पास नहीं है, I think Gallagher is totally opposite, and that's something which I like about Gallagher.
yeah.
Quality, I agree. Enzo, bhai, he balls, man. He's a super player, a standout in terms of skills. लेकिन वही है, skills don't win you the game all the time. That's the thing, na. You need a
Do
bit
you
of both.
think they should maybe change the midfield style? Maybe a 6 and 2/8. So
मतलब
all the
I
midfield is a
think
little
what
deeper.
कंसिडरिंग काइसेडो अभी नहीं है, ठीक है, और हम उगो चुको के साथ खेल रहे हैं, आई थिंक प्रॉपर अ 4-3-3 इज बेटर. सो गैलेगर एंड एंजो प्ले लाइक नंबर 8s, तो ठीक है, दे गो अप एंड डाउन एंड बोथ हैव दैट एबिलिटी एज वेल, बोथ कैन टेक शॉट्स एज वेल, और उगो चुको इज द सिटर, दैट्स हाउ इट शुड बी. लास्ट गेम में क्या हुआ, उगो चुको वाज रोमिंग अ लिटिल बिट मोर देन व्हाट आई वुड हैव लाइक्ड, लेकिन एट द एंड ऑफ द डे भाई वी क्रिएटेड चांसेस वेल, स्पेशली इन द फर्स्ट हाफ. नॉट स्टर्लिंग, अगर द गाय विल टेक 10,000 टचेस भाई. इस सीजन तो अभिषेक, एज मच एज मैं भी बहुत हेट दिया था स्टर्लिंग को. Yes, last match, second half, everyone was bad, including Sterling. लेकिन I think Sterling still, I would say, along with Gallagher, has stood out यार. मैं इसलिए Sterling, मतलब for me, he's, अगर गोल स्कोरर बोले चेल्सी के दिन, चेल्सी के टीम में right now, I would actually prefer Sterling to get that nod, despite Sterling not being a real finisher. हम जानते ही है. सादिक भाई बोल रहे Aston Villa struggled against pace in the LFC game. Mudryk can be crucial, exactly जैसे सादिक भाई ने बोला. Even I agree, Mudryk should be given that confidence. और अगेन फॉर पीपल ट्रोलिंग मुड्रिक, फेयर इनफ, ही इज नॉट एन 80 मिलियन प्लेयर फॉर श्योर, लेकिन अगर आप देख रहे हो ध्यान से, मुड्रिक हैज सर्टेन थिंग्स व्हिच प्रोबेबली कैन बी थोड़ा बहुत इफी फॉर द ऑपोजिशन, डेफिनेटली रॉ. लेकिन इफ ही इज नॉट प्लेइंग मोर एंड मोर, दैट विल गिव हिम लेस एंड लेस कॉन्फिडेंस. तो आई थिंक वी वुड रादर प्ले हिम, स्पेशली जब एंकुंकू नहीं है. इमेजिन लाइक यहाँ आपकी टीम में भाई, आई आस्क अ मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड फैन यहाँ पर, you know exactly what happened. I think I discussed it last week as well. When आपका who was injured last time, when Lisandro was out last season for a time, you had Luke Shaw playing center back and not Maguire, so that was a clear statement. Abhi when Nkunku is out, if you don't play Mudryk, it will be a clear statement by Poch, right? So and that reduces the confidence somewhere down the line. That doesn't help the player, right? So that's how it is. Okay, Ugochukwu will have all the possession in the world and won't score a goal. I'll go with Cole Palmer. Let's be more attacking, ham or pace. ठीक है, लेकिन मुझे लगता है अभी भी
Wait, one
Aston
minute.
Villa on
Before
counter.
you say anything, Ankit bhai, Cole Palmer's left wing, right?
Cole Palmer, he can play left wing, right wing, central attacking midfield. His main thing is number 10. Number 10 खेलता है, who can play right side, and he could also play
Okay.
left side as an attacker.
Because when I saw him for
behind
Man
the
City
striker.
towards the end of the season, I saw him play left wing a lot.
Yeah, he
So,
in fact Chelsea
if
के साथ last season में he played left wing against Chelsea.
So,
That's what.
so if he plays left wing, he's going to have to deal with Matty Cash, and I think Matty Cash will bulldoze him because Matty Cash is pretty quick and he's very strong. So
yeah, but
that
I
could be a
think I would
problem.
still go with Mudryk यार वहाँ तो I think Mudryk needs more chances in my opinion, क्योंकि the more that you don't start him और भी कम होते रहेगा. Social media में he's getting enough troll anyway.
Do you think you have too many wingers now?
नहीं, I don't think so. देखो, Sterling is not the winger of the Liverpool times ना, मतलब I don't really count him
Well,
like a
technically,
winger.
Sterling was a fullback in Liverpool who got converted.
Brendan Rodgers did.
You know, Ankit bhai, we watched football so long ago that people still today don't believe that Gareth Bale and Sergio Ramos was a left back and a right back. People don't believe it. They refuse to believe. I'm like, guys, I'm telling you, this is where they played. And the why I talk
even
about the
even
fullback
for
thing.
people who do not know, by Gareth Barry B, if I remember right,
Yeah.
he I think City may turn into a DM. He was actually a fullback.
Oh,
He was actually a
yeah.
fullback. People who do not know Gareth Barry, by check it
Yeah,
out.
and Raheem
one of the
Sterling,
legends of EPL.
why they were happy to offload Raheem Sterling, fun fact,
Saka
guys,
bhi, exactly.
is because Saka also as well, because they thought Nathaniel Klein was the next one up, and then unfortunately Nathaniel Klein got really badly injured, and then he had very bad luck moving forward. But it's so funny, right? Like when people say we'll play Sterling on the wing, I'm like, but he has the finisher of a guy who defends really. That's why his finishing is not really good, because he's actually a career fullback who's been converted. And then when people make fun of his finishing, I'm like, guys, you have to realize he never played his entire life as a winger. And that is why Wan-Bissaka has bad finishing, and then we have pushed him as a winger the other way, which is actually more suited to his style of playing football. because he can't shoot and he can't cross, so he's a better defender.
But
He
the
started as a
opposite has
winger.
also happened, right? With a lot of players. Like for example,
Yeah.
midweek maybe we saw Vasquez playing right back. He's actually your winger. Your
He's a winger.
Antonio Valencia, Ashley Young, they have turned
Right wing,
they
right
turn
back,
into
left wing,
fullbacks.
left back. Yes.
First of all, dude, please someone please message Ashley Young's whatever जो भी है उसको manage करता है. If you Google now who is the highest scoring defender in the Premier League, Ashley Young, bhai, it's always John Terry, bro. Ashley Young, you don't associate him as a defender, bro. He became a defender like literally yesterday, bro. Come on. लेकिन let's not go there. Manchester United पर आते हैं, guys. Get your predictions for Chelsea versus Aston Villa. कल होंगे हम live वापस से, लेकिन what about Burnley Manchester United after that 4-3 loss against Bayern Munich? What are you expecting? Team sheet mein Pelistri had a good night, in my opinion. Nahi?
Man, have I not been saying that every
Correct?
week?
You have. I think it's tonight, right?
We
The
change
match is,
formation. We
midnight.
change
Okay.
formation not to play a player. That's the truth. Like people will use all this complicated tactical analysis, but the truth of the matter is that we played a diamond because he didn't want to play Pelestri. What I don't like about what he did was that was Pelestri's second ever start. If you were going to play Pelestri at Bayern Munich, why not give him game time in the previous matches so he can get used to the players in the position? I felt like he got very hard done that way, personally speaking. He had a good game, but I feel like he got really hard done because imagine that's your second start ever as a professional player for your team. That's insane to me. I couldn't believe it. And I thought he did really well. I thought him and Reguilon, if you don't take the goals, I thought they had solid games. I think Reguilon has been our best player for the last 2 games, honestly. And I genuinely think we are going to get a result. I think that people say that wasn't a 4-3 thriller. And I don't think it was ever going to be a thriller to begin with at the Allianz. Everyone said we're going to lose 3-0. But instead of giving our props, where we scored 3 goals against Bayern Munich and no one thought we would even score 1 goal, people have turned it into it's a 4-3 thriller, but it wasn't really a thriller. But here's the fun fact. At 4th minute, we almost scored. It took
for 20 minutes. I think we were discussing on the other stream. And
28 minutes, we played better football. The commentators said we played better football.
First 20-25 minutes, we were easily the better team. Yeah, I agree with that.
So and then at 48 minutes, we were 2-1 down. But we scored a goal. We looked lively. We got caught on the counter. Like we got caught on the counter many a time before Bayern Munich. But people will have you believe like we were supposed to come there and run the show and all. Like at the Allianz, where people thought we'd get wiped out, we finished with 55-45% possession. Who would expect that? Who would genuinely expect that? Nobody. Let's be honest, nobody. I thought we did really well. I hope we start Pelestri. I hope Amrabat and Varane make it to the pitch. And I think we are actually going to beat Burnley comfortably. And I think, unlike, I don't know how everyone else feels because I don't like taking their opinions on this because then it mires my opinion on the games after the games happen. But I think it's a positive what we did. And I think we are going to carry that positive momentum into the Burnley game. That is what I believe.
You have to, again, like Chelsea, kahin na kahin bhai I'm bol rahe na. Mokbar was in the chat. Nathan, we have been speaking for the last 2 weeks, and I think we kind of relate in a very strange sense, but it's true. Again, a lot of injuries you can argue, but I believe Rafael Varane and Mount had trained. What happened? Abhi tak injured hai?
So as of a couple of days ago, we have lost 12 players to injury, first team players.
Wow. Beating us there as well.
We are on par with Real Madrid. Me and Jayan make this joke where we are trying to
and Chelsea.
with each
आप
other.
देखो table में भी Chelsea 14, Manchester United 13. We have 12. We have 11. You have 12 out.
Exactly. So I think 4-3 at Allianz. Like people don't want to give credit, right? Because the sad part is people thought we were going to get bludgeoned and didn't get bludgeoned. So then they have turned it into we got dominated and we scored lucky goals. But then I can say Harry Kane got a penalty and we kept him quiet for 90 minutes.
Let's be real. Up until Onana made that mistake, it was a proper match of football where the away side actually got.
And I think the difference maker was Musiala. I don't think it was the players they thought it was. I thought Musiala was the game changer for the team.
And that brings my point. Like Dalo. Now for me, last week में मैंने बोला था. I remember guys, Almighty Sports में हमने Almighty Blues ने क्या बोला था हमने. that the one of the biggest misses in that Bayern Munich game would be Aaron Wan-Bissaka not being there. Because defensively, any day of the week, bhai, he's better than Dalo. As much as हमें अच्छा लगता है, अच्छा football and all that, and going forward, I think that is one. But again, Pelestri did do a job proper. But Casemiro, are you not happy that Casemiro looked better, generally speaking, on the night?
I thought Casemiro had a terrible last 3 games, and I thought, you know what?
Finally, he's
Oh my
woken up.
God! The first thing in my head, I thought before the Bayern Munich game, I was like, oh my God, is he really dipping? And then I was like, at the end of the game, if you see the goals he scored, I was like, this is what a person with a positive mentality and not giving up looks like.
Hmm.
This is what it looks like. He could have just stood at the back at 6 and go, why bother? He's trying to kick a ball while he's on the ground. Like, you know how you are children and when you fall and you try to kick the ball. That's how he scored one of the goals. He was in the box right in the middle of the thick of things. He wasn't running away. And it seemed like he had something to prove. I don't know. Maybe it was the team. Maybe he's up for it. But it is a very good timing that he's in the upswing. Don't be surprised if he scores against Burnley. He did that against Bournemouth. He scored back-to-back goals towards the end of last season as well. 2 really good ones, I might add. I think we are getting some. I really believe we are going to get momentum. Harvey saying, except the penalty, all goals were easy to save in Bayern Munich. I thought the fourth goal. I think there were mistakes, Harvey. I don't think in terms of all the goals scored, they outplayed us. I think 2 of them were counter. One was a penalty and one was a mistake.
Acha, by the way,
Now,
forgetting, Onana, did he redeem himself by those 2 saves at the end?
It doesn't matter because unfortunately with our team, when you go down to Bayern Munich in an away ground with that kind of atmosphere, your heads are going to drop. Even if it was in Manchester United,
Correct.
it's very easy. Many teams have gotten
नहीं,
overwhelmed
लेकिन
at
वो
Bayern
आकर वो
Munich.
बोला ना खुद he made those 2 saves in the end, plus
Yeah.
he came and spoke.
Yeah.
I think helps.
Yeah. I like what he had to say. I like
Correct.
the fact that he took it, and I also like the fact that Bruno Fernandes said it's not his fault we lost as a team. I really like that. Say what you want about Bruno Fernandes missing in big games and all that, but then I always like to tell people missing in big games and still having since you have signed him, only Messi has surpassed him in goals and assists, and we have signed him 2.5 years ago. Like you can say he's a goal and assist stat padder, but those stat padders actually converts to 3 points, which means we get wins, which means we do well. Stat padding is great and all, but when you do the percentage of contribution to the success, it's a lot higher than just simple stat padding. Like if Erling Haaland scores 2 goals in a 5-0 victory, and he does that every game, you can say that's stat padding because they win every game anyway 3-0. But when we win 1-0, when we win 2-1, and he does a goal or an assist, those stats actually matter because he get points out of it. So my thing is, I liked the momentum we took from the loss. I liked Onana came clean with it. You know my stance about David De Gea. I didn't think we should have bought a new goalkeeper this year because I think I told you, doesn't matter if you play a high line. If they lose the ball in midfield, it's the same thing with David De Gea. All the difference is just 2 people move slightly in front because the same people are losing the ball at the end of the day. There is actually the same people that lose the ball last season with De Gea, the same people that lose the ball this season with Onana. And that's why I wanted a Casemiro backup, Amrabat. That's why I wanted a striker, Højlund. Unfortunately, we didn't go for them first. I didn't want Mount because with the De Gea scenario, we needed players in positions more importantly. Now, Martinez is injured. Varane is injured. Our first target was supposed to be Kim Min-jae. Kim Min-jae would have been our first signing. And then something happened. Eric Ten Hag did a U-turn, spent 20 million more than the buyout clause of Kim Min-jae and bought Mount. Still don't understand what happened, by the way, about that. I'm not quite clear how that happened in the end. Apparently, he thought he's going to get both of them, which doesn't make sense because Richard Arnold said we're going to have less money in January last year. Remember the league conversation. I don't need to remind everyone. I'm sure everyone's aware of that. So we knew we were going to have less money anyway. So 4th minute, exactly, Harvey. That's exactly what I said as my first point of the game. So I think we're going to take the momentum and I think we're going to do really well. I liked how the captain reacted. I liked the fact that the goalkeeper said, excuse me, I need to talk, because normally they pick the player you want to talk, right? He said, I need to say something, which I like because, we had certain players won't take their names. Everyone knows who they are, who hides when we lose and shows up only when we win. So
Wow. बट या फॉर पीपल भाई अब क्विक अपडेट दे देता हूँ सुनने में आ रहा है कि दाविड डेया इफ ही इज नॉट बीन पिक्ड एज अ फ्री एजेंट बाय एनी ऑफ द टॉप क्लब्स ही माइट जस्ट कॉल इट अ डे सो सैड फॉर हिम Hazard and a few players bro as in they deserve better but देवेश भाई सब लोग seriously guys we are live for what 1 hour 20 minutes and literally भाई on average at least भाई close to 60 people are watching us तो भाई we can easily get the likes in सब लोग लाइक बटन दबा दीजिए और जो भी यहाँ पर लाइक बटन नहीं दबा रहे बिंदास फीडबैक दीजिए what is it that you're not liking our channel भाई Nathan knows his stuff of course I claim to be at least knowing little bit थोड़ा बहुत जानते हैं यार अपने घंटा गैंग लेकिन घंटा गैंग भाई everyone let's welcome the new members and old members भाई again there's a prediction league going on मैंने डालना है tonight एक message and then based on tomorrow's matches we'll be scoring points for that as well तो भाई बहुत सारी चीज हो रहे हैं on the channels also Nathan's channel यार sports front Nathan को quickly shout out दे रहे on the title आप देख सकते हो it is tagged so let's support our brother as well yes absolutely
And
helps everyone come
can
on
I just say something to say? Actually, it's in relation to Tiger Beast, guys. As a smaller creator, I don't like saying this, but I'll just say it because a lot of people hide behind smoke and mirrors. But if you guys can even share the video on your statuses or just broadcast it, and even if people click on it by chance, YouTube is such a weird way where you have no idea how helpful that is. If you load up it likes upfront in a video, if you share at the beginning of a video, it's very quirky mechanics in YouTube. So small creators, even smaller creators like myself, we rely on this. So if you really do like the content, please, if you can hit a like, that would be great. If you can comment, that would be better. But if you can share it in particular on your social media feeds, that would be greatly helpful. Like, I can't explain to you how helpful it would be because
for sure
unfortunately there
100%
is no metric to explain it because YouTube is a very interesting company. Let's put it that
exactly
way.
अच्छा बाय द वे मैं पुनीत को शॉट आउट देना भूल गया पुनीत थैंक्स फॉर सुपर चैट अगेन लव यू ब्रो you know that why I said that what I said that time and yes we are discussing the game for the whole weekend some already done and more to come plus FPL and other leagues more do highlights that if possible let's like the stream जैसे नेथन ने समझाया अभी लेकिन coming back to this guys time for a prediction score prediction हो जाए Burnley versus Manchester United I would like to say one thing though क्योंकि इतने सारे इंजरीज है हमने बताया ऑलरेडी विच इंजरीज अदर एक्सेट्रा चेल्सी मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड का डिफरेंस वही है क्योंकि चेल्सी आर एट होम प्लस द फैक्ट दैट डिड नॉट प्ले यूरोपियन फुटबॉल मैनचेस्टर यूनाइटेड एंड दैट टू बायर्न म्यूनिख इफेक्ट होगा नेथन वेदर यू लाइक टू बाउंस बैक कंसीडरिंग दैट लास्ट वीकेंड भी अच्छा नहीं था आई नो इट्स अ बिग डील यू हैव टू विन वाला चीज अगेंस्ट बर्नली बट आई डोंट थिंक बर्नली विल बी पुशओवर्स क्योंकि if at all Burnley have a chance to kind of beat Manchester United anytime probably this is the best chance I know beat नहीं करेगी I would still say but मुझे लगता है I can see United drawing this game but they might be play the better football but I can just see that because second half fatigue will come in because you don't have many options on the bench do you so what is your opinion Nathan and everyone the chat score prediction Burnley versus Manchester United
I think we're going to win 3-1. I really think at least for this game that we are
okay
going to feel very energized. I
okay
don't know how long the momentum will continue, but because like you said, we tired legs and all. We got to play Crystal Palace knockout game, and we got to play Crystal Palace back to back in 6 days. So
yeah
those are going to be tough games to play. Crystal Palace obviously only plays one game a week unless there's a cup match, so they'll be even fresh. But I think 3-1 this game. I think Rashford, Hoyland, and
चलो
Casemiro.
Chalo, Casemiro getting 3 goals in a week. Wow. But Madrid mentality is back. I know that people in the chat are saying, I know this would not happen. Garnacho over
No,
Rashford.
it's not
A
going
lot
to
of people
happen.
are
Adi.
asking.
It's not.
I think it's overreacting, in my personal opinion. I'll be very honest. Nothing against anyone. Mera personal opinion hai, it's overreaction. Yes, Rashford has not been the Rashford of last season. लेकिन problem वो है ना media की even us as fans, including myself at times. I'm not going to lie. You all see the watch along. मैं बहुत overreact भी करता हूँ. कभी-कभी हो जाता है और वो भावनाओं में बह जाते हैं अपन. लेकिन there is a middle ground. There is a middle ground between being like wow and being like shit. There's a middle ground. So Rashford isn't the middle ground, unfortunately, right now. Lekin Garnacho, the game that he started for me, he has looked iffy. The game that he's come on as substitute, I think, just like how say a young Pulisic was at Dortmund. He reminds me of almost that kind of player for me. If you have seen Pulisic at Dortmund the early days,
More
kahin na
effective
kahin-
again with tired legs. More
correct,
effective with tired
exactly,
legs.
very well put. Big up to you. Joshua Everett to all. Hoyland brace. I want Devesh bhai. Hoyland actually is doing well. For the little supply he's getting, he's actually doing well in my opinion. Easy 3-1 United, but well, let's say they are injured FC 2. Yes, like Chelsea. तो 2-1 जा रहे हैं. Pelestri is definitely starts. ये तो कोई conversation ही नहीं. He deserves to start.
Devesh, like for weeks, man. For weeks I've been saying it. And I'm just really frustrated. You'll see my face on the watch along tonight. If he doesn't start today, I am not someone who's going to back. The only manager I would ever back blindly is Sir Alex. That's after 2 decades of a reputation. I back my manager. I'm no way ETH out. But because nowadays, Ankit bhai, apparently if you question the manager, everyone's like ETH out with question marks. I'm like, so are you trying to tell me he made the right decision by playing a diamond first time in the whole season? I mean, like, you have to question. Otherwise, it's like you're watching a football match and you're like, you don't really care. If you don't really care, then probably watch another sport, something that doesn't matter, like golf or racing or something like that. Yeah. Whatever pointless sport, volleyball or ice hockey or something like. So for me, it's like he has to start. He just has to. If we play diamond against Burnley, I'm actually going to lose my mind. I don't even care if we win 3-0. Because it's like this is too much now. It's getting too crazy. It's getting too complicated. We need wins. We don't need formation changes. We need wins. So
correct. अच्छा, तो another important match tomorrow is Liverpool versus West Ham. हमने शुरू में डिस्कस किया था, maybe against Aston Villa as well for Chelsea. Again, kind of up and down रहा है, but West Ham actually by being sixth, I would say they have surprised. Or do you think that West Ham have actually made some good moves in the transfer window? Not just that, last season they kind of punched below their waist, in my opinion. So this could be a potential banana skin again. Europa League खेली है Liverpool this season, just like Manchester United. It was on Thursday though उनके लिए versus a West Ham team who were also there. Remember? No, West Ham. Acha, they are there, right? Obviously, they are there in the Europa League as well. Yes, absolutely.
yeah,
So
Europa League.
what happened there? They basically won 3-1. Okay, they won. Acha,
They
that was
beat what?
Bucket
Never
hole.
mind.
No, I'm not going to claim.
Never mind, it's okay.
Lekin, I know that Ward-Prowse scored again and beginning. Bhai, he's playing like a proper cam or second striker, bro. What is happening? Bhai, Ward-Prowse change हो गया West Ham में तो. Maybe it's because of Alvarez signing. I don't know.
But
Already there.
Ankit, I believe we on to some level or to some extent, we have always had the theory that Ward-Prowse will 100% fit a Premier League team. He has proven that he can play in a better team. It's just that because of the way Southampton plays, it just doesn't look attractive. Much like Rice. Did West Ham not finish 13th last year? So Rice is a good deal for a captain who finished 13th, but Ward-Prowse for a captain who got relegated is not nice. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying sometimes it can be like a Letizia. I've never seen him play, but I heard he's the best English player to never play in a top team because he never wanted to leave Southampton. So you know what I'm saying? I'm saying you can't just not be shocked when he's clearly better than the team he's playing in. He just is. He was way better than the Southampton team. Let's be honest. He was. And it's showing now because they play differently at West Ham. They can afford to play more attacking. They have better players. It's not Southampton fighting for their life week in, week out, year in, year out. And here's the results. They have literally only lost to City this season. That's brilliant.
Matlab again, David Moyes, I know he is criticized for people who only like sexy football. Yeah, there are 2 ways, 3 ways, 4 ways, multiple ways of playing football. Yeah, so I think West Ham, मैंने बोला है Premier League में they are one of the teams which is best on the counter, and I think not just that, physicality हम बात कर चुके for Aston Villa against Chelsea, that was similar. तो I think दोनों के Chelsea Liverpool is quite, despite being at home, banana skin है, but वही है like Manchester United, they are coming off a European tie, although it was Europa League. But Thursday at the same time. So guys, let us know what do you think. I think there will not be any surprises in the starting 11. Pretty sure यहाँ पर अपना मेंदू वड़ा नहीं शुरू करेगा. मैकर से मेंदू वड़ा ने शुरू किया था यूरोपा लीग गेम. यहाँ पर for people wondering who's मेंदू वड़ा, प्यार से बुलाते भाई. वटारू एंडू is whom we have named मेंदू वड़ा. पुदिन कहाँ हो भाई? अपने नामकरण करने वाले. लेकिन This is probably going to be the lineup. I don't see any major changes. I know Liverpool are also having a couple of injuries with Trent and Thiago out, I believe. Lekin Emerson back in the starting 11. I think West Ham did rest a few players, good few players from the start. Although World Prowess scored again, Paqueta was there who started the European tie. Lekin I think Zuma was on the bench. Sufal was on starting. So was Agued and Emerson, Ariola. In fact, Fabianski started. So पूरा बैकलाइन उन्होंने चेंज किया था एटलीस्ट फ्रॉम द स्टार्ट सो आई थिंक वेस्ट हैम विल बी fairly fresh despite the travel or rather they were at home, right? Sorry, now they're traveling. So what are you saying? Scoreline predictions, everyone. Nathan.
So this is going to be my shock of the week. I think
Wow.
West Ham win 2-1. And here's why I think so. I think West Ham will be maybe the team that if they get ahead, Liverpool might not pass. Because I don't see Moyes doing what I forgot what the Wolves manager is. Iraola, his name is. I forgot what the Wolves manager is, and
Mhm.
and Eddie Howe was do, which is he will take off his defensive players and put on other players. I mean, Eddie Howe literally made a back-to-back mistake, which cost him back-to-back losses. He took out Tonali, and they literally lost the game the moment he took him out, which is a little weird, but it did happen that way actually, if you think about it. And I don't think Moyes is going to do anything like that. So I have a feeling if West Ham hit on the break, Bowen, Antonio, I think they have what it takes to hold
Okay,
them off. I
Trent is
really do.
back. Update from 1 minute motivation that Trent is back. I don't think मतलब मैंने देखा नहीं press conference लेकिन going by the reports I think he might be training but not back in the team per se. लेकिन again if he's back
Yeah, 1 minute motivation is a Liverpool fan though, no? So maybe
correct,
he's
correct.
he's
So maybe
more
yeah.
aware.
So I'll will take that as the information on mid motivation. Like having said that, I think strangely enough, I think I know Gomez has been better as the center back than a right
Yeah.
back. लेकिन इस मैच में क्योंकि काउंटर की बात हो रही है ना, it might not be the best thing if Trent actually plays. I know
Yeah.
Trent with the attack is awesome. I'm not going to say anything against him, but defensively we know that one thing which probably West Ham wants is that space in behind. और वो वहां पर ट्रेंट विल बी एन इश्यू इन माय ओपिनियन बट और प्लस इंजरी वाई बिकॉज रिमेंबर इट्स अ वेरी बिजी पीरियड ऑफ द सीजन
Yeah.
यू डोंट वांट टू रिस्क जैसे हमने काइसेडो के लिए बोला वी डोंट वांट टू रिस्क हिम येट coming back very early so same thing I would say for Trent because he's your vice captain and someone who produces that magic ball as well. I was wondering who Mendu Vada was. You got it now. Liverpool clincher. Gaurav bol rahe 3-1 to Liverpool will make a comeback as how they've been doing like a Man City, like a Real Madrid.
You know what's funny though, Ankit bhai? A lot of people think they will concede first. That's the interesting thing.
That's a given. That's a
Very
given.
interesting.
Especially Aston Villa, no? Sorry, West Ham, no? That's how it is in my opinion. I agree with that comment. लेकिन हाँ, I agree with Ramit's. ये मुझे लगता है ये होगा. 2-1 for once. They will not score 3 goals. By they've been scoring far too many goals. हम लोग को दे दो यार दान में थोड़े goals. हमें चाहिए goals badly. After हाँ ये this one Antonio's comments, bro.
Fair
Antonio
enough,
was
Phoenix.
actually
I understand that feeling, but this is like that Troy Deeney Cajones Arsenal thing, right? The next year it didn't look
and
good.
Antonio
It
is like that.
it
He's like the typical English guy, right? As
yeah.
in, if I'm not wrong. So I don't think you need to take it very seriously. But
It's very
if
it's
it's
very gamesmanship, na? It's
correct,
making in
it is. It
it's
is.
drumming up interest. It's drumming up interest. So
Well,
it's a
obviously,
good
remember
strategy.
now he's
It's a
part of
good
the
strategy.
content creation world as well. So it sometimes is
No,
part of
and
it.
look at it as a neutral, no, Ankit bhai. If we weren't doing watch along, let's say we are doing some other watch along for that
Hmm.
game. It would be a game if we weren't content creators, we'd watch because we'd like, okay, let's see how Liverpool are going to answer them, like how Arsenal answered Deeney. Like, okay, let's see what's going to happen. So I totally get what Phoenix says. I can relate to that because we have seen it happen before. So that's going to
बिल्कुल
be
but
fun. It
guys
will be fun.
okay I see that deadline 6 बजे है ना FPL का
6 o'clock, yeah.
6 o'clock okay भाई I
7:30
know
first
that
game, right? 6 o'clock.
हाँ सी देखो यार इंजरी न्यूज टीम न्यूज तो हमने दे दिया है आप लोग को अगर इफ यू आर ट्राइंग टू मेक ट्रांसफर्स एक्सेट्रा दिस इज नॉट अ वेरी बैड टाइम टू काइंड ऑफ मेक यूज अ चिप अच्छा आई थॉट आई एम गॉन फॉर एक सेकंड में सोचा विंडो बंद कर दिया अपना What the reason? अच्छा तो दिस इज नॉट अ वेरी बैड टाइम टू यूज अ चिप जैसे मैंने बोला इट इज अ बिजी पीरियड तो आई थिंक इट्स बेटर नाउ और लास्ट वीक मैंने रेकमेंड नहीं किया था बिकॉज इट वाज अ यूरोपियन वीक नाउ दैट yes it's still a European week but abhi it's the start of a lot of fixtures in the Premier League so it could be good plus remember there's a double game week ये कहीं ना कहीं आई अपोलोजाइज, आई पुट माय हैंड अप भाई, मैंने फॉस्टर को रेकमेंड किया था भाई, साले ने रेड कार्ड ले लिया आते ही लास्ट वीक, बिकॉज लूटन एंड बर्नली डू हैव अ डबल गेम वीक कमिंग अप, सो दैट वाज
Morris
द
was
रीजन.
probably the best choice, no? If you have
हाँ,
space
I
for a
suggested both
5.5.
Morris and Foster. I suggested both, लेकिन for people who could afford Foster went for Foster and vice versa. So मतलब ठीक है, that those things happen. देखो, no one is an expert here. We give calculative kind of
Yes.
suggestions. It may or may not work. But at the end of the day, why it's fun. That's why we kind of do it as well. Apart from हमारा घंटा गैंग का ये, लेकिन talk about more injury news यार. I think Newcastle coming off with two back-to-back clean sheets. I think kahin na kahin away to Sheffield United after a tough European tie in Milan, despite them getting a well-earned point. I think Joelinton is still not back. I know he's not an FPL player, really, if you ask me. But Newcastle, I can suggest that they might just make some changes quickly. It was a very hard-fought draw, although they did kick off early. क्या लगता है शेफील्ड यूनाइटेड वर्सेस न्यूकासल? आई फील, यू नो व्हाट, दिस माइट बी द सरप्राइज ऑफ द वीक, क्योंकि न्यूकासल आफ्टर मेनी इयर्स दे आर हैविंग अ वीक जहां पर यूरोपियन फुटबॉल भी था और ईपीएल भी है, एंड दे हैव अ कपल ऑफ प्लेयर्स इंजर्ड. I don't know what do you feel, guys? Sheffield United, Newcastle, a proper banana skin for Newcastle, Nathan?
I have to apply the same logic, right? That I did for Man City. Unless they prove that that was just, they showed up for the event of Man City. So I think it will be a tough game. And I think
They're defending very
Newcastle,
well. Pope
think
was like
Newcastle,
literally a god, bro.
yeah.
How did he manage to keep so many people, so many shots off? I don't know. Although Milan should have done better. Lekin I agree. Botman.
I think, but remember, I told you, I didn't tell you, I think I told Giant, I think Newcastle can get something at the San Siro. And that's all you can do
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
group stage, whether it's 1 point or three
And
points.
that they
If
have
you
got
get
the
one
result
point,
that they probably sort out to do. You are
yeah.
right. But this is also a point, Joshua, Newcastle fan, reminding us that they have Man City midweek Carabao Cup.
Well,
Plus
we'll
they
beat Man
had
City.
Milan.
Please beat Man City. Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man City all have tough games in the third round. For once, this is proper
Okay,
matchup.
but guys, how many of you agree? So Arturo Vidal has come out, although we don't take Arturo Vidal's comments very seriously, although he was not a bad player. बंदे बोल रहे हैं भाई, न्यू शेम ऑन न्यूकासल, they didn't play football. Ghanta, man, what did Arturo Vidal, Vidal himself do a lot of times, kicking
How many
butts?
years did he play in Italy? Is he really the person to talk about this?
And let's be real,
Wow.
he's played for Barcelona of the likes, the Juventus of the likes. I get that. I Bayern Munich, if I'm not wrong, but he's played there. ठीक है. लेकिन बंदा, he was known more for his tackles than for his football, and he was a decent player. Not saying he was a bad player. He was known for his tackles and all those things. So if he says it's a double standards kahin na kahin, I know that kahin na kahin he supports an Italian team, which I myself I'm supporting. But what do you think, man? Newcastle fans, I would love to know from you. But even neutrals, आप लोग बोलिए, why is it that Newcastle are termed to be very defensive when that is part of football? They are one of the toughest teams to play against, in my opinion, in the Premier League. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nathan, in terms of just toughness.
I mean, first of all, he played the majority of his career in Italy, which is a defensive team. I mean, he's high, isn't he? This is why you can't trust anybody with a mohawk to make good life choices. He had like lines on his head, like he was running train tracks on his brain. Like
Crazy,
I
man.
think he's headed the ball too much in his career, and this is the outcome of it after many years. And Quicha, just to answer, if you don't mind, Quicha, I don't hate LFC. They are simply my rival club. They will always be my rival club. If I liked LFC, I would not be a very good Manchester United fan. But if you are asking a team that I do dislike, you actually have come too late. It was Arsenal. So next time, maybe come a little early so you can hear me grill them a little if you're interested. But yeah.
But yeah, I think let's be real. Newcastle versus Sheffield away will be a difficult game as much as we think on paper easy here. So guys, score predictions: Sheffield United, Newcastle. For you as well, Nathan. Everyone.
I think if Eddie Howe doesn't have an absolute howler, which seems to happen more often than not from time to time, I think it should be a clean 2-0. I hope he doesn't do anything stupid. This might be one of those games where please take out Tonali is actually a good idea. But he cannot like take out all his workhorse. He can't take out Isaac and Tonali and everyone that will run. You got to keep feet in the midfield because Sheffield it's at Bramall Lane, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, well, they are going. You saw what they did at against City. Those fans, close stadium. The atmosphere is brilliant. I was watching the Bournemouth game for I don't know who we. I think someone played Bournemouth. I was watching the game live. The atmosphere was crazy. They're the smallest stadium. They have like 11,000 people. The atmosphere was insane. You have to keep your head on your shoulders. You got to score some early goals, and you got to hope they make the mistake and then just hit them on the counter. I would not go all out in attack, and I would rest key players for playing Man City.
बिल्कुल। तो भाई everyone got that. I know there's one more technically a derby. I think there's a what South something derby बुलाते हैं भाई. Brighton versus Bournemouth, but Brighton have been coming off a defeat. Pretty sure they'll bounce back and win it.
Isn't it,
So we're
isn't
not
it
going to
called like
details
the
there.
seaside derby or something?
हाँ,
They're near
something like
beaches,
that.
right? Something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Bournemouth and Brighton. लेकिन यहाँ पर I know deadline is about 40 minutes away. So I know Nathan. By the way, Nathan had to go early. Bhai, Nathan, are you good or you want to go?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Good.
I'm good.
चलो, we are just generally discussing football anyway. भाई हमने discuss किया सब चीज़. I also wanted to discuss the Madrid derby if time permit. लेकिन ठीक है, we'll do that in a video tomorrow. As well as PSG मार से थोड़ा सा. लेकिन ये भाई घंटा गैंग बांग्लादेश FC जाबाज चीते टीम _619 मेस पेप टॉक 101 टॉप 5 को भाई शाउट आउट है. I can see a lot of Sauradeep
300
भाई आप 6
points.
Why Sauradeep? No wonder he's
300
putting his team. Sauradeep is down to 6th. How is it possible? Sauradeep is always in the top 5, but no problem. Ninad, I can see some familiar names. Puddin, 11th, nice. Prathamesh, nice. Also Devesh, भाई दीपक, काफी familiar names है top 20 में.
I think I'm way down on this list.
मैं तो भाई I didn't even make any transfers from 2 weeks. But having said that, सौरदीप का टीम देख लेते quickly. तो he has Burnt Leno, we just discussed that actually might be a good choice because Crystal Palace Fulham is a potential goalless in my opinion. Lekin early kickoff compared to others है, so you never know. Chilwell, I would say remove him, bro. Sorry, हम सब बोल रहे चिलवेल को खेलना चाहिए लेफ्ट बैक and I don't think he had a great impact on the
Yeah,
bench. I know he was
this
good.
is the first week I don't have Chilwell. I was like,
Yeah,
listen,
so
if his
Sordeep,
price
remove
goes down
Chilwell.
anymore, it just becomes really difficult to deal with later on.
Yeah, I would not totally take him out of the team, but what I would say is keep him on the bench because
I have Gusto on the bench, and his price literally rised 1 point, I think 2 hours ago. So he's now to 4.3. So that
wow.
you're getting some gains in another. I actually went triple Chelsea. So don't say I hate Chelsea, anyone here. Okay, I went triple Chelsea for 3 weeks. I went triple Chelsea for 3 weeks. Okay, I don't want to hear any hate in the comment section. I went Gusto,
But
Chilwell, Jackson.
how
I picked
about
Jackson, by the
Rashford?
way.
How about Rashford? Would you
Jackson.
keep him?
Oh, I'm suffering. Jackson and Rashford and Fernandes are still in my team.
लेकिन
I have to
Burnley,
die on the sword.
Rashford, away. I don't know. You know what? इस बार भाई सौरदीप, I know North London derby है, but आप लाओ यार उडोगी को लाओ in my opinion. I think high scoring derby होगा.
I took no defenders. No defenders for the North London derby.
Unless you don't have
on the
transfers.
bench.
नहीं, let's go with Sauradeep's team because he's asking for one. लेकिन अभी के लिए if I'm looking at his team, I think that you need to definitely bench Chilwell and get in. Despite North London derby, मैं तो बोलता हूँ Udogi is not a bad option. क्योंकि when they create, I think he gets in an assist or something like that. Having said that, अगर transfers है, I think it's probably time to make a transfer. Get transfer or Chilwell. Get in. I think I don't know. If you have to recommend any defenders, we probably would go with
I'd go someone offbeat, maybe get cash. Digne. Save some money, use the money somewhere
go
else.
with I don't think Chelsea will score many goals anyway. Or he played in midweek, I know, but I think he'll play. So Digne is actually a good choice in my opinion.
Or if you want to double up on Newcastle, maybe Shah. It's still cheaper than Chilwell.
Yeah, that you heard it there. By Shah or Digne, you can go with them. I would say go with them. Rashford, ठीक है, अभी भी आप रखो. लेकिन हाँ, definitely you need to change for sure. Chilwell, don't take out Udogi or Saliba just yet. But take out Chilwell is what we recommend and keep Rashford in the squad. 11 का आप you might want to keep him on the bench, but इस बार just try him one last time. Shah could be rested. You think so, Joshua? Wow, अगर वो हो गया तो it's a bad one, but who's going to play in centre back then?
Burn is cheaper? Burn is cheaper, right?
Yeah, and Burn plays left back as well. You know what? Lekin, yeah, so I think, yeah,
No,
go for
I
Burn
think
then.
cash. I think cash only. In that case, don't double up on Newcastle. You'll lose points. You lose
Lekin
too much
Villa is a
time.
good Villa is a not a bad team to invest on right now. Because Villa, ka, I think if you know if I remember right, they had a bad मतलब set of games. I think they're not having such a bad run right now if I'm not wrong. लेकिन हाँ Lascelles में गए अच्छा ठीक है तो you might go for Burn or Cash or Dinia. That's what people are saying. लेकिन apart from that guys, any questions if anyone has, bring it up. Botman मैं tips and pointers detail में नहीं दे रहा क्योंकि वो we give it once every couple of weeks. I'd given it very detailed में last week के video में. I don't think it changes. Basically, I give a tips. And I don't know Nathan if you've seen. I try and give tips and pointers for a couple of weeks so that just to see what are the teams with easier fixtures, yeah, teams with tougher fixtures and all that. And I think stick to that. I don't think major changes है कुछ. Only thing is हमने injury news cover किया है, so don't try to pick people or transfer in people who are injured or maybe doubtful. That we have already covered on the preview that we have done in detail, right? So unless
Just a
you have
question,
any other,
Ankit bhai.
yeah.
What are your good? What are your what is your bench? Your outfield bench. Do you have any idea what is your outfield bench? Do you remember?
No, yeah, I don't. I'm not made any transfers from 3 weeks.
Okay.
I'm not playing.
Uh,
I've just created this for everyone. I've give tips and pointers. Like in generally speaking, if I have to say again, try and pick अगर आप बोल रहे हो from the bench, then impact players. जो impact maybe like for example, Darwin Núñez is not a bad person to have क्योंकि आपको पता है वो start भी नहीं करेगा तो भाई आकर गोल मारेगा. Liverpool score a lot of goals. So such people are better rather than just having people who play get you 3 points. You rather have people who are proper impact. Trossard, for example. Despite not starting every game, इस बार तो शायद शुरू भी करेगा ट्रोसार्ड. So I can see him getting a lot of goals and assists. Such people are actually not good. लेकिन अब मुझे याद है तो भाई मैं यहाँ पर चैट में भी डाल देता हूँ एक सेकेंड. These were teams with the fixture list. भाई मैंने डालने की कोशिश की है. Okay, Newcastle are having generally not a bad run, so they can go with Newcastle, Tottenham, Manchester United, Chelsea, Luton, Burnley. So these are teams which are recommended, and teams which are not recommended if you're getting in a new transfer are Liverpool, Aston Villa, Arsenal, Man City, Brighton, Crystal Palace, and West Ham. Having said that, Aston Villa is bar having seen last weekend is not a bad choice क्योंकि Chelsea goals नहीं करती ना. That's why we are saying that it's good. Should I play Cash over Gusto? What do you think? No, Gusto can get a clean sheet, bro. I don't think it's why do you need to change that? I think डिफेंस ऑफ चेल्सी चिलवेल क्यों हम लोग मना कर रहे थे क्योंकि वहां पर हमें पता है कि यार मे बी कॉलविल स्टार्ट चिलवेल मे नॉट स्टार्ट एज मच एज वी वुड वांट चेल्सी फैंस फॉर चिलवेल टू स्टार्ट ठीक है और गुस्तो ऑन द अदर हैंड रीस जेम्स इज स्टिल नॉट फिट इज नॉट कमिंग बैक टू द टीम दिस वीक तो कीप गुस्तो आई थिंक इज अ गुड वन और फाइनली तो भाई एक दो गोल तो आएंगे यार कभी कभी तो गुस्तो इज अ फुल बैक जस्ट लाइक बर्न समटाइम्स दे माइट गेट द ऑड असिस्ट यू नेवर नो लेकिन हाँ भाई वी आर डेफिनेटली टारगेटिंग 150 लाइक्स हियर. Again, we did discuss a lot, Gaurav. I think we have discussed literally every game, every possible game. And chalo, Sauradeep, आप पूछ रहे Pickford replacement, Areola, I have Leno. That's a good question. I think
when you
Areola.
wildcard, Sauradeep, when you wildcard, don't do any goalkeeper stuff now. I think when
No,
you
generally,
wildcard,
and
bring him
West
in.
Ham have a lot of tough games, by the way. Just saying. West Ham have a lot of tough games. So Areola, I know, great goalkeeper. लेकिन मुझे नहीं लगता वेस्ट हैम विल कीप एनी क्लीन शीट्स इन द कमिंग डेज मेरा ये ओपिनियन है तो डोंट गो फॉर वेस्ट हैम डिफेंस इज व्हाट आई वुड सजेस्ट गो फॉर वेस्ट हैम अटैक बिकॉज आई कैन सी देम गेटिंग सम गोल्स इन काउंटर फेयर इनफ especially someone like a word prowess because he's good on set pieces as well. I think he's a good choice rather than going for a defender or a goalkeeper of West Ham. Aston Villa, on the other hand, I have a so-so kind of a fixture list. Aston Villa, you can still go considering this weekend Chelsea के साथ खेल रही है, who don't score many goals. So, any goalkeeper if you have to suggest, Nathan?
For wildcard, I'm thinking so. I have Turner right now in Pickford. For if it continues in this vein of
How about
form, I'm
Neto?
going to
How about Neto?
yeah. I would go Neto, Flecken, Flecken and Turner maybe,
Yeah, low cost
or
वाले हैं.
Flecken and Areola, so we can switch each week. Yeah, but I'm only doing it for wildcard. I'm waiting till I decide to wildcard for goalkeepers.
Onana no. Onona.
No, no. It's too much. No, it's too much money.
And
Much
yes,
money.
captain guys, Nitesh has answered the question. Haaland. Fair because he didn't score in midweek, did he? Come on, he's scoring. Everyone knows it.
Am I supposed to? Should we just diverge?
No. We'll just
I don't
quickly.
know. Are
We
we
are going to
supposed
end
to
the stream
diverge?
in 1 minute.
No, I'm just going to say my captain was not Haaland. Actually, that's all I was going to say.
Chalo, who's your captain?
I'm
Reveal it.
I'm going I'm going for a differential. I'm going to go with Alvarez.
Wow. Actually, Alvarez is a good pick, by the way. लेकिन कोई नहीं देखते हैं भाई whatever happens. I'm bringing चलो ठीक है. I think Cash is not too bad. Go for him. Uh, Definitely someone who can get assists. I know goals मारा था 2 लेकिन बहुत दिनों बाद मारा था लेकिन assist is a good choice. लेकिन I believe that's it guys. We have discussed literally entire Premier League, FPL and whatnot. We will be back tomorrow. हम थोड़ा सा जल्दी आ जाएंगे कल. तो कल हमने चेल्सी एस्टन विला प्री मैच तो करना ही है. साथ साथ में नॉर्थ लंदन डार्बी भी बात करेंगे वापस से. कंबाइंड 11 की टाइम नहीं मिली तो भाई उसमें कर लेंगे. Nathan, tomorrow are you live as well? Tonight to you're live for Burnley Man
Today I'm
United.
live. Tomorrow night I'm doing City and United today. I'm
ठीक है
doing
तो
NLD tomorrow.
ठीक है तो
Packed
tomorrow I'll be
weekend.
here with some other panel. लेकिन guys कल हम करेंगे combined 11s of the two matches, but we also have to do the Atletico Madrid Real Madrid discussion. We might release a video or we might actually just discuss live. Let's see what we do. लेकिन भाई सब लोग जो भी है like button दबा दीजिए. Certainly helps. Or everyone who's not subscribed to Sportsnet Nathan, consider doing that. Always a fan channel for all to see, just like Almighty Blues and Almighty Sports. और हाँ भाई मुझे याद आया इससे कल क्रिकेट मैच भी है. Guys, what should I do? Please, मैं पागल हो जाऊंगा
No.
सब.
Ankit, bhai, come on, Ankit, come on. NLD, come on. We have to all
No, but
feast on the
India Australia.
We have to feast on the Arsenal loss. Ankit, come on.
But before
Just-
World Cup, everything is important, bro.
No, you got to
ठीक है,
feast
कल
on the
we'll come on
NLD.
ABFC itself. We'll come on ABFC itself. We might do a review stream on the Almighty Sports channel in the night. ठीक है, everyone. Or a preview, I don't know. Let's see. But again, see you there, everyone. All the best to Manchester United, to Liverpool, to Arsenal, to Tottenham, to everyone. लेकिन भाई सबसे ज़्यादा Chelsea, you know that. अब the Chelsea no matter what. लेकिन Nathan, thanks for coming always, and see you all very soon tonight, hopefully, but tomorrow for sure. See you guys. Bye.